they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-393-1881. 800-393-1881. 800-393-1881.
Join us as we honor Baseball Hall of Famer and Phillies Wall of Famer Scott Rowland for the Toyota Scott Rowland Wall of Fame Salute on Friday, September 22nd at 7:05 before the Phils take on the Mets. Secure your seats at Phillies.com. It's all about the best fans in baseball when we celebrate Fan Appreciation Day on Sunday, September 24th at 1:05 when the Phils battle the New York Mets. Grab tickets now at Phillies.com.
Your new kitchen appliances look stunning.
Thanks. We had a blast shopping for them at National Appliance Warehouse. There's over 100 brands in their huge showroom. The best part was knowing everything was at the best price.
You must have done a ton of research.
Oh, we didn't need to. They use a cutting-edge technology called Price Assure. It searches prices online and updates electronic Price Assure tags in real time to make sure theirs is the lowest.
Lower than the big box stores.
Especially them, with much better service, too. And they do it all. Delivery, installation, everything.
National Appliance Warehouse in Wilmington.
Yes. They may not be the closest, but they'll make your wallet the happiest.
There's still time. The Labor Day mega sale is extended at National Appliance Warehouse. Save up to 35% on select GE appliances. National Appliance Warehouse has an unmatched collection of GE, Cafe, GE Profile, and Monogram appliances. Innovative and inspiring, you'll love GE appliances. Preview the savings at nationalappliancewarehouse.com or visit their easily accessible showroom on 202 in Tax-Free Wilmington.
The New Jersey Transit Police Department reminds you that we all need to work together to keep our transit system safe. Be alert and aware of your surroundings. If something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. Report suspicious activity to 1-888-TIPS-NJT or text your report to NJTPD. New Jersey Transit urges you to help us keep our transit system safe. Report suspicious activity to 1-888-TIPS-NJT or text your report to NJTPD.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Water quality continues to be a topic. Ensure your family is drinking clean, pure water with the Kinetico water system from Martin Water Conditioning. The Kinetico system removes all the impurities from your water. What comes out of the tap is crystal clear, all-natural, delicious water. Put the Martin Water Conditioning family's passion for water to work for you. Do what I did. Contact Martin Water Conditioning. Mention DOM 2023 to receive an exclusive offer. DOM 2023. Visit martinwater.com. martinwater.com.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together, millions of things for our planet. Use your vehicle less in September. Walk or bike to close destinations and enjoy more time outdoors. When we each share a one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. Free speech lives here. It's Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And away we go. Live on this Friday, September 8th. It is indeed Kayal and Company here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app. And, of course, streaming live for your video viewing pleasure on YouTube. As we head until 10 o'clock this morning, 855-839-1210 is the phone number. Twitter and Instagram at 1210 WPHT. Dawn Stenzelin with the news. Greg Stocker, the chairman of the board. Daniel Valdez, Anthony Dorenzo, our associate producers. Great night at Parks last night. Zioli putting on a hell of a show. Buying wine, picking up tabs. I was like, I got to do this more often.
Picking up tabs? Like yours?
Well, he bought my drink, bought my appetizer, paid for Dorenzo's dad.
Nice.
Then he went up on the stage and did his thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
If it's free, it's for me.
Did you, by the way, speaking of Parks, did you wager on that game last night?
I did not. I placed a
good.
different wager for Saturday.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw the Alabama wager on your Bet Parks slip.
But I stayed away from that game.
Okay, it's a good thing.
Why were you?
No. I'm just you know.
Yeah.
Would you have picked the Lions to win?
No, once Kelsey was out, I had no clue what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So I just drank more wine. Dawn, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Happy Friday.
We were talking about you last night, Dawn.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. We were talking about you. We were talking about Greg as well.
Uh-oh.
How you doing, buddy?
Who was talking about it?
Everybody.
Okay.
Polo was there.
Who was? Yeah, Polo.
Not
Marco.
Not Marco Polo.
Okay.
Not Ralph Lauren Polo, but Polo from the Kayal and Company YouTube comment community.
Cool, man.
It was good stuff.
I like it.
Good stuff. A lot of good things to get to this morning. We got some interesting polling numbers on Trump and Biden. That'll be the feature of the Big Take this morning. And actually, Bill Maher defends Donald Trump supporters, which will also be featured in the Big Take this morning. Also, the binder is back on the market.
What?
Karine Jean-Pierre.
The binder?
is once again single.
Wow.
So maybe we should do like a dating game called, I don't know, Bag the Binder or something like that.
I like it.
As opposed to a bender.
Yeah,
Bag the binder.
Right.
I like it. Look at that.
Yeah, so we can ask her if what she prefers in a man or a woman, and she'll say something like,
I would refer you to the White House counsel.
That's what she does.
She was with that woman from CNN, right? Or
That's
something?
correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. Also, DeSantis snaps at a reporter.
Oh, getting snippy.
Yeah, he was a little testy yesterday. And Jimmy Fallon apparently is a fraud.
Wow.
I started reading that article in Rolling Stone last night. I was just like, wow.
Yeah. So
I've heard rumblings
You
about
have?
him as a D-bag.
Because he comes off as the nicest.
Oh, I know.
It's always
most easygoing. It's always those guys.
It's always those guys that are like that.
Toxic work environment.
Yep. Do I have is this a toxic work environment?
I was just going to say, random outbursts. It's a lot like Greg.
Holy crap! There's good Jimmy days and bad Jimmy days, is what they say. And watch out on bad Jimmy days.
That's correct.
It's like The Shining. Here's Jimmy.
That is absolutely correct.
Man.
So we got all of that. We've got the cut sheet and a whole bunch more this morning. But let's get some news. Round number 1, 6:05. And for that, we go to the great Dawn Stensland.
And good morning. We're told, if you remember yesterday, we were told that yesterday was the last day of the big heat wave. They were saying it was going to be 87 today. That is not true.
Oh, great.
I'm calling out the meteorologists over here.
Fake news.
It was supposed to be 87 today, not so much. So it's still going to feel like 103 degrees today. So this is supposedly the last last day of the heat wave. But then we get a bunch of rain for Friday night football, for Sunday football, although the Eagles will be, at Patriots, but still.
Eagles!
So just in time for the weekend, all the rain,
Great.
all the storms.
Cool.
I just want to point that out, call them out as they deserve to be called. How could they get it that wrong?
Yeah, and by the way, with the 98 degrees and then it feels like 103, can anybody feel the difference? I've always wondered that.
That feels like, if it feels like 103 or whatever, it's 103.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Well, it's 99 today, but it's going to feel like 104. Really? What's the difference?
Miserable.
Exactly.
Miserable. And that brings us to, thinking about people who have to work in the heat, firefighters or the search crews, for example, in Chester County. But these brave firefighters rescuing 2 children and a man from a home this morning in the Grays Ferry section of Philadelphia. So they were rescued from the burning home early this morning. The fire broke out around the 2900 block, I should say, of Wilder Street. So crews arrived, smoke just coming from the first and second floors, just spewing out of the home. Firefighters rescuing those 2 kids and 1 adult, a 6-year-old little boy, 10-year-old little girl. They are at Children's Hospital right now where they were rushed to be treated for smoke inhalation. Looks like they're going to be okay. They're listed in stable condition. And the adult man was also treated for smoke inhalation and is in stable condition at the hospital, another hospital, obviously, right now. So no word on what started that fire. They're still on the scene, but wanted to bring you that latest update on these brave firefighters. Kudos as they got everybody out. And looks like everybody's going to make a full recovery. All right, let's get to day 9 of The Heat is On as far as the convicted killer caught on yet another trail cam at Longwood Gardens in Chester County.
This is such a talkable story. When we were at Parks last night, Rich, myself, and David Dorenzo, even the server and the bartender were talking to us about Mr. Cavalcante. Like, nobody can stop talking about it. This is a remarkable story.
It is. I know some people are criticizing him, not as much in the community because they see all these officers, they're working in the heat. I'll update you in a moment on the K-9 who was succumbed by the heat. But that's, we complain, we're all complaining, right, about the heat wave this week. Feels like 103. We are not in the woods, like some kind of a, person, through the brush, trying to sling our blade through the brush of Chester County. Yeah. We're in most people are in air conditioning, or at some point you get a break, you get a nice cold bottle of water, a cup of water. These guys are out here 24/7.
Which I've heard it's actually more difficult to find this guy with all the shrubs, the bushes, as far as the heat sensor drone or whatever that goes over the top. Like if it was 50 degrees, they would be able to pick up on his body heat pattern better.
Well, they're saying it's only an 8-mile radius. Like they have him confined to an 8-mile radius, but the 8-mile radius is very treacherous.
Dense.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you're
Not
exactly
treacherous,
right.
but like it's hard to find.
But the good news is they do feel that they have him. He's basically walking around in circles. They have the guy. It's like a Hotel California Longwood Gardens.
Yeah.
He keeps going around and around, but they have done a good job of locking him in the perimeter.
Mm-hmm.
And like Greg says, 8 to maybe 10 miles. So they feel like they are closing in on him, but they have him contained.
Good.
So he's in there. So that's the good news here. He's an escaped killer, if you haven't heard, on the run in Chester County. It's day 9 of this search. So far, eluding hundreds of law and officers, and that's Pennsylvania State Police, who they're the ones who are leading the investigation, but we know the feds have been brought in to help out, and obviously all those local authorities, attack teams in full combat gear, tracking dogs, those are the canines, cops on horseback and aircraft, and remember those drones going through the neighborhoods as well. As the search entered its second week yesterday, the residents were nervous, expressing great gratitude to the officers, but staying alert as they have been told, because this guy, as he gets more desperate, the fear here is he will get more dangerous.
We should just torch Longwood Gardens.
just drop like an isolation bomb right over that area.
Smoke them out.
Yeah. I always feel more reassured knowing that the feds are here. Yeah. They couldn't find cocaine in the White House. They can't find Cavalcante.
Obviously, I jest. Longwood Gardens is lovely.
Yeah, it's gorgeous and closed today now. So I know that they have a few people inside, but they're saying, please don't try to come over because everything's locked up. And in truth, the bare bones staff is there just for security.
Who is that person that
I know.
is not following the news at all and shows up at Longwood Gardens and is like, oh no, we came to see the chrysanthemums.
Yeah. It's like, it's two girlfriends in a hat.
Yep.
Hats with maybe a little wine in the flask.
Yep.
Hi, we're here. We love botany.
Not been following the news. I have no idea what's happening. They're like, what's all this? Why are all these cops here?
Valdez apparently used to work for Longwood Gardens.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I'm telling you, I think Valdez is helping this guy out.
No.
I really do.
He would never do that.
They're both 5 feet, 120 pounds.
Stop.
Both wearing
Anthony,
extra small.
Or Daniel, can you assist the cops?
I don't know what you want me to do.
Well, you guys are the same size, so maybe you can speak his language.
You guys have similar mustaches.
I guess we're both Hispanics.
Am I racially profiling you?
Daniel is taller and much more handsome.
Yes.
Right?
That's correct.
And hasn't murdered somebody.
Right.
Two people.
And knows how to use the cameras for YouTube.
I know, right? So basically, there's no comparison for Daniel's parents who are listening.
If Cavalcante's listening, though, he can call in and we'll talk to him.
Stop. U.S. Marshals tip line 877 wanted 2. That's the number. $20,000 reward for any info that leads to Cavalcante's capture. And that PA State Police K-9 is on the mend this morning, so we just wanted to update that one. He suffered a heat-related illness while searching for Danilo Cavalcante, this convicted killer who escaped the Chester County Prison August 31st. Yes, it is day 9, and this guy is here in this country illegally after he fled his home country of Brazil through Puerto Rico, and then ultimately at some point came to Chester County. So officials are saying that low-key, the canine was discharged from veterinary care. He's doing great. He's released from the hospital, from the veterinary clinic earlier yesterday, and is expected to make a full recovery. So thank you, Loki, as well. We love I love canines. I love those dogs. They're amazing. And it's great that they are using the canines, because I think...
You should bring Buddy in to sniff him out.
Oh, boy. Oh, come on now. No, it's frustrating. I know that it's frustrating, but I do wonder if the weather, the fact that we're going to get these possibly severe storms, and that'll bring us to the NBC 10 first alert forecast. And I'll do sports last because it kind of leads into a big sports weekend, and this evening with the Phils returning home from San Diego. So 103 degrees for your Friday, and that's good news that the heat wave is over. The bad news is that it is over because we're going to see storms. So 74 degrees right now, possible risk of severe weather today. Wind and hail are the greatest threats.
Yeah, just in time for me to play golf this afternoon. Great.
Oh.
Can you imagine if we can't, they've done this search for this guy and nothing can flush him out except weather.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden it rains and it hails and he's like, okay, I give up. That's it. I'm done. Sorry.
He comes
Pouring
flooding
rain.
out.
Yeah.
Well, and storms, lightning storms, torrential rain. So it looks like that's coming later this evening. So I still think as of right now, I'm just going to tell you, as of right now, because I'm looking at tonight, 6 to 7-ish, 40% chance. 6 p.m., 48, 50% chance, and 7 p.m. tonight, 40% chance. So unfortunately, right around the time of our Phils game tonight, Phils Marlins, it looks like it's going to be iffy for game time. So we've got that going on. And then for your weekend, it looks like Sunday is the worst day for the rain, but the rain is going to be rolling through with possible severe storms through the weekend. I think that we will have spots where it clears out over the weekend, where you see the clearing out, and then for the evening or afternoon, the rain returns. So it's not a washout by any measure. I'll also point out to you with the Phils, Chicago lost. So that's because we have to watch them, right, for the wild card spot.
Mm-hmm. So the Phils are 2 games up now.
So, woohoo! Yeah. So Phils begin the 3-game series at home, 7:05 against the Marlins this evening. And then remember, we talked about Trey Turner on paternity leave. He's scheduled back.
Oh, nice.
So he was just on a few days of daddy duty.
Rough stretch for the guy.
And then,
how'd the Phillies do in that stretch? Just asking.
I'm just wondering.
Asking for a friend.
Yeah.
I'm sure he really helped his newborn baby.
Yeah.
And the Eagles opener. The Eagles opener against the Patriots on Sunday. It's not at home anyway, so I don't know what their weather is there. But, we're going to win.
Yeah,
Eagles.
I agree.
Eagles!
Yes.
The Eagles! Woohoo! So it's a huge weekend. It's a bummer that we're going to have the rain, but we'll get through it. This is Kayal Company News Live.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. 6:15 Friday. Let's wrap it up with another Big Take.
The Big Take on Kayal Company.
All right, the big take this morning, the rematch is getting close, literally. There hasn't been much conversation over the last week or so when we talk about the possibility of a Joe Biden-Donald Trump rematch in 2024. On Wednesday, we got a small piece of content to chew on when the DOJ said they will indict Hunter Biden by the end of September on that federal gun charge. And we discussed the story yesterday on Kayal Company and what it actually means. But today, after some developments on Thursday, it looks like we have an interesting plot twist or twists that are worth exploring. In a new CNN poll, Joe Biden has just a 39% approval rating with only a 74% approval rating among Democrats. 58% of voters say Biden's policies are worsening the economy, and 67% of Democrats want a different candidate. In a brand new 2024 general election poll on CNN, Donald Trump now has a 1-point lead on Joe Biden, 47% supporting Trump with 46% supporting Biden. And here's the other crazy, staggering numbers. Ron DeSantis is tied with Joe Biden. Nikki Haley is beating Joe Biden by 6 points. Mike Pence would actually beat Biden by 2 points. Tim Scott, same case, beating Biden by 2 points. And even Chris Christie would beat Joe Biden by 2 points. Joe Biden's only victory in a potential election would come by 1 point over Vivek Ramaswamy. Now, as we say on Kayal and Company, we take polls with a grain of salt. But this is a fascinating development because not once in 2020 was Donald Trump leading Joe Biden in any CNN poll. Every time the Dems go after Trump, it makes him stronger, not only with his base, but factor in now more than ever the left being done with Biden, his failed policies, his age and health concerns, and the fear-inducing thought of Kamala Harris as the next person up, despite saying she's ready if called upon. On Wednesday, I ripped Bill Maher for calling Donald Trump stupid and then not being able to name a single charge against Donald Trump when he was on the Joe Rogan podcast. But I'll be fair, and I'm going to give Bill Maher a little bit of credit because he's just made a great point, and he was actually complimentary of Trump's base. Take a listen. Here is Bill Maher on MSNBC's The Beat with Ari Melber scolding the liberal media for the way they cover Trump supporters. Listen and watch.
But I guess my question to you would be, if you see these headlines, if you're a normal, reality-adjusted person, does this help or hurt Donald Trump? It probably hurts him with people in the general reality community who say, I don't want more of this.
I got to stop you and just say, I don't think this helps the media world that we live in, where we sit here and everybody else is just a deplorable who's reality challenged. But they see him as the one thing that is standing between them and something even crazier. And there is a lot of crazy on the left. And I think it would be helpful if the people who watch this would see that.
Kudos to Bill Maher for ripping the audience of the deplorables, which MSNBC and CNN loves to use that deplorable term, as well as pointing out how crazy the left actually is. Now, they clearly don't want Kamala, even if they won't say it out loud. They view RFK Jr. to be the crazy uncle at Thanksgiving dinner, and Gavin Newsom apparently is the best they have. He's turned California into an unaffordable, unlivable state, has had a mass exodus of people fleeing his state, and has been exposed for his COVID hypocrisy multiple times. All of this while they continue to make Donald Trump stronger. And in the latest Trump and Georgia case news, Donald Trump has now said that he will absolutely take the stand in his trial against him. On a radio interview on Wednesday, Trump said he is looking forward to testifying and defending himself in these trials. If Trump gets on the stand, it could go very poorly for him, especially if counsel advises him not to, and they advise him to plead the fifth, or it could be another opportunity for Donald Trump to campaign, especially in the Georgia case, which will be televised. Yesterday, the Trump camp made another legal move, formally notifying the judge overseeing the Georgia election subversion case that he, quote, may try to move his state case into federal court. Trump's lawyers have previously said they would try to move the case, which could help him get the charges dropped by invoking immunity protection for federal officials. Whether it's Trump or another Republican nominee, the GOP is going to have a very difficult time winning in 2024. But that said, the Democrats, they have kind of pinned themselves into a corner in the name and the game of identity politics. The progressive wing of the party has created a disaster for themselves. And the ultimate irony is that the Dems have created this blueprint where they basically want anything other than a straight white cis male. Yet, who are their options? 81-year-old Joe Biden, Gavin Newsom from California, and RFK Jr. All straight white cis men. And with their dated, annoying, laughable racism playbook, they've actually had media outlets writing columns suggesting that if Gavin Newsom officially entered the race, that it would be a sexist and racist attack against Vice President Kamala Harris, who, as we know, isn't qualified to be the vice president of Walgreens, much less the United States. And we always talk about how the Democrats are diabolical. They rally behind a candidate, and they have a plan. But do they? They clearly do not want Joe. Momentum and the pendulum swinging. Is it starting to favor the 45th president of the United States? Time will tell. But one thing is for sure, if you play with fire, you might get burnt. And it's starting to feel like the Dems and the left are taking on self-inflicted wounds, which could ultimately backfire on them. And that's the big take.
The Big Take on Kayal and Company.
All right, big take this morning. If you want to jump in, thoughts and reactions, you can certainly do so. 855-839-1210, the number. Twitter and Instagram at 1210WPHT, or, of course, on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Hit the like and subscribe buttons and be a part of the Kayal and Company comment community. We'll come back, get thoughts on what we just discussed, as well as another new CNN poll on what Democrats view the link of Joe and Hunter and the culpability factor. Did Joe really know? Some surprising results. We'll get into that when we continue. It's Kayal and Company live here on a Friday morning. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
The NFL season started last night. The Eagles play Sunday at 4:25 against the New England Patriots. The spread is 4. I would take the Eagles in that. You can bet your first $5 bet on that game on Sunday. And all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off the NFL Sunday ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV for this limited time only. This is FanDuel Sportsbook in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. I love the FanDuel app. And now is the best time to join FanDuel. Just go to FanDuel.com/Greg. Kick off the NFL season with an offer you won't want to miss. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. And he's the official partner of the NFL. 21 and over, President PA. First online real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. The NFL Sunday ticket offer ends on 9/18/23. No refunds. Terms and embargoes apply. $100 off NFL Sunday ticket, not YouTube TV. YouTube TV base plan required to watch YouTube TV. Redemption requires a Google account and current form of payment. Commercial use excluded. Subscription renews. Cancel anytime.
Warmer swings and drives one high and deep. Sawinski at the wall, and it is gone.
This Sunday, the Phils are back on 1210. The Phillies host the Marlins, and you can hear it here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Swung on, hit deep. Garrett back at the track, at the wall. Look it up. It's gone.
Catch all the action with the pregame show Sunday afternoon at 12:30.
Lorenzen leaps into the arms of Realmuto.
The Phillies, Sunday afternoon at 12:30 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And in the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-990-3434. 800-990-3434. 800-990-3434.
This is Larry Steinhaus of Investor Schooling. I am so proud to announce the continuing success of our students at Investor Schooling. You already know that at Investor Schooling, we teach real estate investing and stock options. Did you also know that we teach things about tax savings, estate planning, and business coaching as well? We teach things about money I bet you never knew. At Investor Schooling, we teach from the perspective of true experience. If you want to see what our students think about Investor Schooling, please check out the over 160 5-star Google reviews. To find out more about how you can change your financial life, go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829, and you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday at 7 p.m. Attend that class and see for yourself what Investor Schooling is all about. Go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829. We can't wait to see you this Thursday.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. September is Cholesterol Education Month, and it's time to take charge. So how is your cholesterol? For over 38 years, Rescue Natural Supplements has been a trusted partner in cholesterol support. I've relied on Rescue supplements for years. With Rescue, you'll find specific supplements tailored to your needs. Favorites like omega-3s, red yeast rice, and more. Right now, all you have to do is just use the code DROP, D-R-O-P, to double up your order on any cholesterol product for free. Call today at 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable product consultant or use the code online when you visit res-q.com, res-q.com. Again, use the code DROP, D-R-O-P, buy one, get a matching Rescue cholesterol product for free. I've personally seen the firsthand benefits of Rescue supplements. They are incredible. Remember, use the code DROP, D-R-O-P, to double up your cholesterol support order for free today.
We are Nancy and Robert Harding, and we became Crash Proof members in 2018.
It is important to go to a Crash Proof event. I went to the event. He wouldn't go.
I tend to be a little more skeptical.
He's skeptical.
If you're skeptical of the Crash Proof event, I'm probably the best witness you could get. I am convinced now. With the Crash Proof system, the interest gets credited to your account, and then you make interest on that new principal amount. I saw the 12% return. The compounding on that is going to just push our value up that much quicker.
Double-digit interest is possible any year. And he can thank his wife for going to that event. Can't you, honey?
Every good husband knows that that's what he should do. Listen to his wife.
Join Crash Proof Retirement for a private screening of the groundbreaking documentary, The Baby Boomer Dilemma, at the William Penn Inn on September 12th. Registration is required. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Hey, Riverton. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
I got a little change in my pocket going jingle-lang-a-lang. Want to call you on the telephone, baby. I give you a ring, but each time we talk, I get the same old thing. Always no huggy, no kissy until I get a wedding ring.
6:30.
My honey, my baby.
Kayal and Company rolling on live Friday morning.
Don't give me no lines and keep your hands to yourself.
Keep your hands to yourself, folks. Nick Kayal, Dawn Stenzel, and Greg Stocker. 855-839-1210, the phone number. Get us on the free Odyssey app. Watch us live on YouTube. Yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting. I mean, this is the first time I've ever seen polling numbers from CNN that were so favorable amongst all the people that were polled for all of the Republican options against Joe Biden in potential matchups for 2024. That's why I thought it was worth bringing to light here in the Big Take this morning. And again, this was a CNN poll. And in 2020, not once was Trump ahead of Biden in a potential matchup. And we went through all the candidates there in the Big Take. In this poll, Trump would beat Biden by a point. Christie and Pence beating Joe by 2. And maybe the biggest surprise and the biggest takeaway, and we talked a little bit about her yesterday, Nikki Haley would beat Joe Biden by 6 points.
I told you guys.
You did.
I like her, and not just because she's a woman.
Yeah.
She has a level of, I think, she's just a classy lady.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that because I think there's some women who, like Hillary wants to wear the pantsuit and make sure, I look like a man. And so I think women are weird. We are weird to each other because we're so hard on each other. Think of mothers and daughters. We love each other, our girlfriends, but we're tough on each other.
I think all women secretly hate each other. Isn't that correct?
No, I don't think that. I think that God created us last. We are the pièce de la résistance.
Right.
And so we feel that you've always got to be better.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that. I think that that's something primitive. I'm not kidding here. That because women are the mothers, that we're just tough on each other.
Could you imagine Nikki Haley against Kamala Harris in a debate? How much?
Oh, she crushed her.
She would chew her up and spit her out.
But in such a classy way, and that's what I mean. She has an elegance about her that she can wear a dress. She can show her legs. We've all met her here. Dom has had her here a couple of times, and I think Rich as well in the afternoons. And you meet her and she's lovely, but she's not afraid to wear the dress and the heels and the lipstick and look feminine and own that. But as well, she is tough as nails.
Yes.
And smart and brilliant, strong. So I think she has that whole package that resonates with people because she's authentic.
Yes. And I think what's interesting about this polling numbers, you have Trump, Haley, Christie, and Pence beating Biden. Yet the two perceived winners from the Fox GOP primary debate 2 weeks ago were DeSantis and Vivek Ramaswamy. DeSantis is tied with Biden, and it's been a rough stretch for Vivek the last couple of days. He's the only person that would lose to Joe Biden, and we know that Vivek got into that little kerfuffle with one of the MSNBC guys yesterday on the cut sheet. So rough stretch from him, but right now, and look, we all know it's going to be Trump in 99.9% chance of it happening. But Nikki Haley with the widest lead in this CNN poll, which was conducted August 25th through the 31st. 1,503 adults drawn, including 1,259 registered voters and 391 Democratic or Democratic-leaning independent voters. The survey also included 898 Republicans or Republican-leaning independents. So it's not looking good for Joe any way you want to slice it or dice it on that front.
And that's a CNN poll.
Right.
That's,
yes.
It's not.
Where it should be favorable in theory, you would think, to the Democrat, right?
Yeah.
And then it gets worse when we talk about some of the controversy and the legal issues surrounding Joe Biden. In this CNN poll, 61% of those surveyed say that Joe Biden was involved in his son Hunter's business dealings, and 42% of those people polled say that Joe Biden engaged in illegal activities. So you look at it from, it's not just Trump dealing with challengers or legal drama and cases. You've got Joe dealing with record low approval ratings. 70% of the country thinks we're going in the wrong direction. 58% said the economy is worse than it was just 7 or 8 months ago, where they polled it and they said it was at 50%. And you see every day, the economy, Bidenomics is working, and they like to do their little victory lap. Yet we just saw a report come out financially that we have just hit a 10-year high in credit card default and car loan payment default. So if Bidenomics is working so good, why can't anybody pay off their Visa bill? And why are cars getting repossessed that are on loan or lease at a 10-year record high? Something doesn't add up to me, because it seems like the average common folk out there can't pay their bills and are falling further and further in debt, which I think you highlighted this, Dawn, when we were talking about the Fed a few weeks ago. More people than, I think it's 72% of Americans in the last calendar year have had to dip into their 401k just to pay monthly expenses.
Yeah, and that's and we've done that. Larry and I have done that. Full confession.
I have to.
So it's aggravating, because this is your hard-earned money that you put away, and you think, okay, I have this no matter what happens.
Yep.
I've worked hard my entire life, and I continue to work hard, but I have something saved away. And so to tap into that is, insult to injury, to your point, with thinking about Joe Biden, Bidenomics, what a disaster he has been with the economy, and that's just one thing.
That's correct. 855-839-1210. But don't worry, Karine Jean-Pierre will get up in front of the podium. She'll look down at page 4 of the binder, and she will tell you that Bidenomics is working. But if you've ever wanted to date Karine Jean-Pierre, now is the time. So attention all females out there. Because
and a few good men.
A few dudes, she doesn't like you. Karine Jean-Pierre reveals, and I love the coverage this administration gets in publications like Vogue and Rolling Stone and Politico. But Karine Jean-Pierre reveals that she is split from her former CNN anchor partner, Suzanne Malveaux, in Vogue interview about being a single mom and how she co-parents to their adopted 9-year-old daughter. She and Malveaux have lived together for a decade, and Karine Jean-Pierre officially parting ways, saying, quote, "I'm a single mom who is co-parenting this amazing kid." She told the magazine, "Our number one priority is her privacy and to make sure we create an environment that's nurturing." Now, where she did not say is that her former partner, Malveaux, will actually make child support payments, unlike the first son, Hunter Biden, who, never wanted to pay for Navy. So Karine Jean-Pierre back on the market. I think we should do like a dating game, like the match game right here on Kayal and Company.
Do you think she would take us up on that offer?
I think she would reject it emphatically.
Yeah, I think she would too.
And if we asked her to come on, she would say something to the effect
I'm not going to get beyond that.
She's not going to get beyond that, and she would want no parts of it. But Karine Jean-Pierre, 49 years old. And by the way, when you are a White House press secretary for a Democratic president, you get things like a 3,800-word profile, which featured the descriptions, and many in this article saying that Karine Jean-Pierre is known for wearing bright colors and bold eyeshadow that Jean-Pierre, 49, wears. But it also talks about her suicide attempt, which I did not know about, and her difficulty in coming out to her parents as gay. Topics Jean-Pierre also addressed in her memoir called Moving Forward. And she likes to say that at the podium, as this administration is going to move forward.
Well, it's a good stepping stone, that job, because I don't know if you guys saw this yesterday. Jen Psaki just got a primetime MSNBC gig.
Oh.
She'll be doing, apparently Chris Hayes has been demoted.
Oh.
Because he will be doing only Tuesday through Friday.
Oh.
And Jen Psaki will be doing the Monday 8 p.m. show.
Okay.
So
that's must-see television.
Jen Psaki will be on.
Is that inside Jen Psaki?
8 p.m. Inside with Jen Psaki.
Inside with.
Yeah, you can't. You have to
Okay.
remember the with.
Right. It's a big,
inside.
Big part of it.
With Jen Psaki.
Right.
Yeah.
So when do you think Karine Jean-Pierre gets her show?
She's not going to. Jen Psaki's way better at this than she is. So Jen Psaki is easy to get. That's an easy hire for MSNBC. Karine Jean-Pierre, not so much.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, she used to be in a relationship with a former CNN anchor, so maybe CNN will say, why don't we put Caitlin Collins and Karine Jean-Pierre back to back in prime time? That'll get about 200,000 viewers a night.
What are you saying? Americans don't want to see women?
Women with no personality that look angry, that aren't entertaining. Yes. No, I think Fox and MSNBC would relish that opportunity to have CNN hire the binder. 855-839.
Hire the binder.
Hire the binder.
Hire the binder.
Yeah, I'm telling you, there's a lot of play on words we can do with this.
Yep.
It would be phenomenal.
Speaking of that, when you talk about Vogue, Melania Trump never on the cover of Vogue. What a joke.
Point proven. Okay. I'm telling you. Michelle Obama on. Jen Psaki on, Karine Jean-Pierre, Politico, Kamala Harris, year 3 breakout. They love to feature all the women on the left, yet Melania gets destroyed. And then, like, Casey DeSantis gets labeled. What was she labeled by one of the publications?
Walmart. Well, she was Walmart.
She was the Bobo Melania.
Yeah, Bobo or or Melania
Right.
What was she, the Walmart version
The Walmart
of
Melania. Yeah. Like, Melania was Heinz ketchup. And Casey DeSantis was like the store version brand, the generic Bobo ketchup, which, by the way, is always awful. The rule is you can't buy Bobo ketchup, but Bobo mustard is sufficient. It's just in my kitchen, by the way. All right, 855-839-1210. Coming up next, Jimmy Fallon. Yeah, I've said this for many months on this show. The most outspoken vocal on the left are usually the biggest violators of what they perpetuate to be against. And Jimmy Fallon is proof positive. Where do you hear this explosive report about just how toxic it is working on the late night show, which, by the way, is not happening because of the writer's strike, when it comes to working with Jimmy Fallon? 16 coworkers, past and present, sound off on the unfunny former SNL cast member. We'll get to that when we continue. Wrapping up Hour 1 next here on Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Happy 62nd birthday, Granddad.
Thanks, sweetheart.
I got you this.
A mug. Oh, thank you. What does it say? Beware. If you are 60 or older, you may be at increased risk of hospitalization from RSV, respiratory syncytial virus, compared to adults younger than 60.
Not all dangers come with warning labels. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about getting vaccinated against RSV today. Learn more at bewareofrsv.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. When it comes to all your home improvement needs, trust is everything. And that's why for years, I've been talking about the amazing work my friends Stephanie and Matt and the entire team at Emmons has done for me and my home. My roof, doors, windows, siding, and yes, remodeling projects. Emmons can bring that same quality of work to all of your kitchen and bathroom remodeling needs. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, and now baths and kitchens. Emmons is the Delaware Valley's one-stop shop for all of your home improvement needs. Call 856-556-3229 and get a free estimate, or go online to emmonsroofing.com, or even better, come visit the Emmons Design Showroom in Cherry Hill. emmonsroofing.com. It's about trust, it's about quality, it's about great work, and that's why me and my family have used them for basically every project we've done to improve our home. emmonsroofing.com.
When
you need to know. Depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
The U.S. Open women's semifinal match was delayed nearly an hour by environmental protesters last night. A judge's order for Texas to remove the Rio Grande floating barriers has been paused by an appeals court, and Hurricane Lee has become a Category 5. It's expected to cause rough surf and rip currents in the Caribbean islands this weekend.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra at the Miller Center in Reading on Wednesday, October 18th. And at Springfield High School in Delaware County, Saturday, November 11th.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
I loved it.
All his voices are fabulous, and the fact that he sings.
I couldn't imagine how good it would be with the orchestra. Awesome show.
I've never laughed so much. My cheeks hurt. I'm like, yeah.
That's Conklin and City Rhythm at the Miller Center in Reading and at Springfield High School in Delco. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
Hey, it's Jesse Kelly. When a restaurant closes, my reaction is, that sucks. They had good steak. When regional banks close, or 3 of them close overnight, it freaks me out. This is why I have my own personal gold reserve. It's part of my personal protection plan. Call my friends at Oxford Gold Group. Call 833-404-GOLD. 833-404-GOLD. That's 833-404-GOLD.
There are more identity threats than you realize. Even if you monitor your credit, only a little personal info needs to leak out, like your social security number or password.
For you to become a victim.
LifeLock alerts you to threats you could miss. If your identity is stolen, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions, but everyone can save up to 25% off their first year with promo code NEWS. Go to lifelock.com.
Let's talk about innovation refunds, because got to talk about this. Has been helping small businesses that qualify to get a business payroll tax refund through the Employee Retention Credit, also known as ERC. So the ERC, it's a tax refund for businesses that kept employees on payroll for parts of 2020 and 2021. So if you owned a business with between 5 and 500 full-time employees in those years, you could have money waiting to be claimed. So if your business faced those challenges to the growth that it would have had, without the pandemic government orders, well, you may be eligible for a substantial refund too. Innovation Refunds has hundreds of 5-star reviews on Trustpilot as well as Google, and they're also accredited with the BBB, the Better Business Bureau, and they're not going to charge you any upfront fees or any money until you get paid. Innovation Refunds does not provide tax or legal advice. They're going to work with an independent network of tax professionals, and they share that information with them to evaluate and then process your claims for you and weave you through and cut through all that bureaucracy. Just go to innovationrefunds.com. You can call 1-843-REFUNDS, 1-843-REFUNDS. Terms and conditions apply. Innovation Refunds. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Follow Talk Radio 1210.
Kayal Company, 646. Welcome back in. Happy Friday, everybody. Nick, Dawn, and Greg. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Coming up in hour number 2, Ron DeSantis has a very explosive Q&A, which started off very amicably and cordially as a reporter that actually used to serve and is a veteran in this country. And then it just took a terrible turn, and DeSantis went off on this individual. We'll get to that, as well as this story on Jimmy Fallon coming up here in just a moment on just the toxic work environment Dawn and I can relate to this. It's like working with Greg Stocker on a daily
true.
basis.
It's absolutely true.
Intimidated. My mental health has deteriorated, and I'm going to start speaking up about it shortly to HR, to be honest. No, but last night was interesting at Parks. A lot of people saying hello and talking about the merch.
Oh, yes.
And the merch is available.
Yeah, so if we can look at, if we can put that up, go to YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. If you're around a computer, if you're driving right now, you can do it when you get to work or whatever. But if you can put the images up, there we go, Daniel. Thank you. The Kayal & Company Free Speech Lives Here coffee mug. The Kayal & Company Free Speech Lives Here hoodie. It's a gray hoodie. That's a sweet hoodie, man.
I'm gonna wear it all fall.
Yeah,
to be honest.
We'll have stuff for each and every one of you soon. As soon as I get my hands on it.
As soon as we can track it down.
The women's V-neck and the man's shirt.
Yes.
So it's all up there right now. If you go to youtube.com/@1210WPHT right now if you want to see it, or if you want to order it. The link is on the website. So just go to 1210WPHT.com, 1210WPHT.com. You can, it's on the upper right-hand corner. It says merch or whatever. Click on it, and it'll take you right there. You can order it. So,
and by the way, too, once you do purchase this stuff and it does arrive, we were doing the thing for a while where we were saying, show us your setup as you watch us on YouTube at home on your smart TV or whatever. Once you get that apparel, take some selfies.
Absolutely.
And show us your swag.
Yeah, it's the only promotion we're gonna get. So wear it proudly and show it off.
Yes.
And at first I saw, because you have the black, which is lovely.
Yes.
But then online I saw there are some that are gray T-shirts.
Yeah, well, these are gray.
These
are gray. So
I like.
Yeah,
I like both.
I like the gray. I like the gray a lot better, and I still like the font of the Kayal & Company thing and Free Speech Lives Here.
Yes.
I like the gray.
Yeah.
We got to make sure we send a few mugs and sweatshirts to the White House as well. We'll make a few, a few to Karine and Kamala. They'll be big. They'll wear it on TV, I'm sure.
1210WPHT.com if you want to order. Please order.
All right.
Keep us. And by the way, you're not making us we're not getting any of the money.
Yeah, which we should really discuss. I think we should have a conversation on the air about, because in the wrestling business, when you're a professional wrestler, you get a cut of your merchandise sales.
That's not
going to happen for the talent here.
You should really read your contract more.
Myself, Dawn, Dom, Rich, we don't get 40% of all merchandise sales.
No, you don't, Don. You don't. Sorry,
Dawn. We got to figure this out in the next deal.
Does any of it?
We'll talk about it.
But we should save some for charity stuff, or do sometimes for the fundraisers. Like in the past, we've done. Greg does a special color.
Right.
Yeah.
And those go over well.
Yeah. So we'll do more as we get as we close in on the Travis Manian Radiothon coming up in March.
There we go.
Order 1210WPHT. There's a link right there. 1210WPHT.com. There's a link right there. So go there. Also, if you have not done so, you can, if you register for the Disney trip, is on the website.
That's
as
correct.
Well. We'll be giving away that keyword at 9:50 this morning.
Indeed. All right, so let's get to Jimmy Fallon. I've said this in the past. Many people that are always advocating for whatever they advocate for in public on the left, whether it's a social justice issue or a political ideology, usually behind closed doors or behind the scenes, they are one of the biggest violators and frauds of everything that they publicly claim to stand up against and speak out for. And Jimmy Fallon, in a story from the Daily Mail, is accused of creating a toxic work environment at The Tonight Show by 16 current and past staffers who say the star's hissy fits forced them to sob in crying rooms, made their hair fall out, and triggered suicidal thoughts.
Oh, boy.
This reminds me of the Lizzo story from a couple of months ago, where she was basically, I believe, she was shaming other people despite talking publicly about, the dangers of doing so.
Mm-hmm.
So according to some of the details, concerns have been raised by 14 former employees as well as 2 current workers about Fallon's erratic workplace conduct and interactions with other bosses, which left them feeling belittled or intimidated, according to Rolling Stone. So I'm a little surprised that Rolling Stone is actually crushing somebody on the left here.
Oh, they love to take people down.
Oh, do they?
True or not?
Okay.
And I have my doubts a little bit about the story, but go on.
Do you really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do.
They claim that Fallon's inconsistent behavior, which has included outbursts towards coworkers, is the starting point for a pretty glum atmosphere. It was like if Jimmy is in a bad mood, everyone's day is effed, one former employee says. People wouldn't joke around in the office and they wouldn't stand around and talk to each other. It was very much like focus on whatever it is that you have to do because Jimmy's in a bad mood, and if he sees that, he might fly off the handle. Jimmy Fallon says that he has no show if it wasn't for his great writers. Well, the publication approached more than 50 current and former Tonight Show employees for the story, and while many praised Fallon for his ability to crack a joke, no one put their hand up to speak on the record or had any good things to say about the work environment. The 16 who did speak up, under the condition of anonymity, worked in a range of different roles, from production crews to the writer's room. The things being reported in this article happened years ago and just aren't reflective of the atmosphere today, a source close to The Tonight Show told DailyMail.com. Quote, nobody is denying that things have happened in the past, but any previous issues have been dealt with and everybody has moved on since then. A lot of these are old anecdotes that have already been reported, and it's unclear to everyone why they're being brought up again this year. So many current staff members have positive things to say about the show, but they're just not being given the chance. So is this a power play by the writers on the writer's strike with being out of work right now? But you have your doubts about this. So why do you question this?
Anytime I hear disgruntled employees, that's all I mean, first of all, let me say, I have no doubt that Jimmy Fallon is a huge D-bag because it's always the guys who are like, oh, look, I'm cute and nice and funny, and they're always the ones that are the biggest pains in the butt. I'm sure he's a pain in the butt to work for. I don't know if this is a reflection of the snowflake writers and production people that he's just like, oh, we need a crying room because we're being, look, it's a competitive environment. If he wants to, he's going up against other shows, he wants to be number one. If he thinks
on the line,
if he thinks that the bits or the jokes are not up to par, then hey, send these back because these aren't good enough because, hey, this is all our jobs. Like this is what we do.
And it might sound something like this.
Can we check our work,
Exactly.
please, before we put it on the air and save it?
Yeah, I just every time I see these stories, I just think it's probably a bunch of former people who got fired or are out of work right now who just want a little, let's take down Jimmy Fallon and trust me, I'm the last person that's going to stick up for Jimmy Fallon.
Right.
But this raises red flags for me.
Okay.
It's two current and 14 former employees.
Yeah.
And People Magazine has the, NBC. People Magazine is coming back with now NBC giving a statement, and NBC is obviously trying to do spin control on this, and letting other staffers speak and say it's really not true. So he did apologize for any kind of toxic. He came out and apologized.
See, I lose respect for him now.
But here's the thing. I'm just going to say, this is the top. You are working on this Tonight Show.
Yeah.
And this is the big time. And you should expect that if you make the tiniest mistake, you're going to get ripped.
Yeah.
I can tell in TV news at a local level or at the network, I can tell you make one tiny typo mistake, you are ripped and made to feel like you just murdered somebody. So I cannot even imagine the atmosphere and the pressure that he's under, whoever he is, I don't really care.
Right.
But to me, this goes to work ethic and understanding you have the honor of working on a top show. This is the Tonight Show. And so every mistake you make, every rating, digit lost, they're going to rip people. That's what this is.
Yeah, it's a competitive. We do, to a lesser level, but we go through the same thing here. It's all a numbers game. If we're not performing or we're not, doing what we have to do, then we need to kick some butt and let's shake things up.
I personally can't relate to not performing and not putting up numbers, but some people have had to deal with that in the past. There's no doubt about it. Many of the staffers on the show said they left the show due to mental health concerns. 7 people saying their overall well-being was impacted by the alleged experiences.
This is him hiring a bunch of 20-something.
It's karma.
Harvard-educated who've never had a real job, have gotten, got this stuff handed to them, and now they have like, oh, my mental health. It's like, shut up.
But I got to imagine it's like that on all of these shows, whether it's Fallon or Colbert, whether it's, Tucker Carlson or Hannity, any of these people on TV that are making $5, $10, $15, $20, $25 million a year, they're probably a pain in the butt to work with. They're high profile. They're high maintenance. This one anonymous person says, nobody told Jimmy no. Everybody walked on eggshells, especially the showrunners, another former employee claimed. You never knew which Jimmy we were going to get and when he was going to throw a hissy fit. Look how many showrunners went so quickly. We know they didn't last long.
When Dawn made this point, I think, better than I'm going to, but when the show has your name on it, and it does, there's a lot of pressure on you to, this is his brand. This is his, he took over this iconic. And by the way, weren't some of these stories from 2017?
A lot of these were pre-pandemic, correct.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, and these are some showrunners. So you are hired, you are given an opportunity. Right. And I'll take you back to 20 years ago, young Greg Stocker, who started out as an intern and then hired. Yep. Right. And you worked with Michael Smerconish.
Yep.
How was Michael?
He was a giant pain in the butt.
And how did that impact? But think about, how did that impact your career?
He gave me a great work ethic because I didn't have the best work ethic, especially at 23. I was like,
day to day, he showed you what it means to work in this business, and now you're running the place, okay? That's what that is. When you start at the entry level, you're a showrunner.
Yeah.
This is a huge opportunity that you got in. You got in the door.
You've got to earn your stripes.
That's right. So you're going to be humble. You're going to be a grunt. You're going to say, yes, sir. No, ma'am, Well,
15 years ago when I got into Philadelphia radio and sports, I was basically a board op and basically what Daniel and Anthony are right now for a disgruntled afternoon host who no longer has a show. And he was the biggest D-bag to work with. Yet on the other side of the spectrum, working with Bruno, who could have been just as much of a D-bag, Bruno was never like that. Bruno would just start yelling when we were trying to record a commercial, and he would botch the script and start cursing, and we would save the outtakes.
But I just think that what Jimmy is doing, or what those people, what I infer is what they're doing. It's almost like a boot camp situation.
Yep.
They're preparing you for war.
Yep.
So let's, and I have to make it personal with Greg, but think about in the 20 years you've been here, how cutthroat it is, the pressure and all of that. And so if you work for somebody who's rough on you, who's pounding you, who's saying every single day, there are no matinees. I mean, I can hear my bosses over the years saying those things to me, and it does. It prepares you for the future and that when you're in that hot spot. So these individuals, I would love to know how many of them. Now, it would be different if one of them said, hey, I worked with The Tonight Show for 15 years or 10 years, and other people were gracious to me. That would be different.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that they're runners, the fact that they're, I would love to know the ages and the tenure of each of those individuals, and they don't give that information. That's what I'm trying to say.
855-839-1210. We'll get some news coming up in hour number 2. And speaking of toxic, it got very heated with Ron DeSantis and a reporter yesterday. You'll hear that battle when we come back. But right now, I got to tell you about my friends at the Piazza Auto Group. Fall's upon us, but it's still time to take advantage of a great offer at the Piazza Auto Group. If you're a truck person like me, the 2023 Honda Ridgeline is the way to go. But if you're not in the market for a truck, and not everybody is, you can still take advantage of 0.9% APR financing on all of their models, which include the Honda Civic, the award-winning Honda Accord, the CR-V, the Pilot, and more. The Piazza Auto Group, it's been an absolute pleasure to work with them. 4 months in this truck already, and I'm looking forward to taking advantage of what it offers in bad weather this fall and winter. 17 brands, 35 locations. It is the go-to for all things automotive. If you're looking for a new or certified pre-owned vehicle, take my recommendation. Go stop by one of their locations or just visit their online inventory right now, piazzaautogroup.com.
This is Larry Steinhess of Investor Schooling. I am so proud to announce the continuing success of our students at Investor Schooling. You already know that in Investor Schooling, we teach real estate investing and stock options. Did you also know that we teach things about tax savings, estate planning, and business coaching as well? We teach things about money I bet you never knew. At Investor Schooling, we teach from the perspective of true experience. If you want to see what our students think about Investor Schooling, please check out the over 160 5-star Google reviews. To find out more about how you can change your financial life, go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829, and you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday at 7 p.m. Attend that class and see for yourself what Investor Schooling is all about. Go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829. We can't wait to see you this Thursday.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And in the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-990-3434. 800-990-3434. 800-990-3434.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Change happens fast, and when it does, your small business needs to be ready. With Capitus as a trusted financing partner, you can be ready for anything that comes your way. Be it a sudden bump in customer demand, the need for quick cash to fund unexpected opportunities, or keeping the lights on when there's a sudden downturn in the economy. A simple 5-minute online application with Capitus could put the funds you need in your hands in as little as 24 hours. Go to Capitus.com to explore your financing options. That's KAPITUS.com.
From Broomall to Brookhaven, follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app.
Download it now.
When you wake up in the morning and the light has hurt your head, the first thing you do when you get up out of bed is hit that streets a running and try to beat the masses.
7:05, Kayal and Company. Hour number 2 underway here on a Friday morning. Nick, Dawn, and Greg, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Get us on the free Odyssey app. Watch us on YouTube. What's on the cut sheet coming up at 7:45. Also this morning at 9:20, our morning mystery movie clip. And today we have a $50 gift card to Liberty Union Bar and Grill with locations in Phoenixville and Chester Springs. So you'll be playing for that. And, of course, at 9:50 this morning, another keyword for our Walt Disney World vacation giveaway, where we'll give you a keyword at 9:50, and you'll just go to 1210WPHT.com to enter it and see if you can get your trip. We've done it all week long, and it will continue for the month of September. Also, still ahead this morning, speaking of, we were just discussing the Jimmy Fallon story and all of his, colleagues and coworkers that work on the show being soft. We've got a couple of other soft society stories that include a therapist that is now of the belief that Gen Z just goes to TikTok as a trend to cry about their life and their trauma in their life. And speaking of being soft, Aussies are apparently outraged over a U.S. comedian saying that Australia has no sports. So that'll be interesting, and we'll get to that as we continue. And also the meltdown from Ron DeSantis. But before we get to that, 7:06, Friday morning, round 2 of the news, and here is Dawn Stensland.
Morning. Good morning. This is Kayal and Company News Live this Friday, September the 8th. We are right now at 73 degrees, warming up another 20-plus degrees, but it will feel like 103 degrees as we round out the week with the final, hopefully final heat wave day. We're sponsored right now by Best Work Industries for the blind. We have firefighters in Philadelphia rescuing 2 children and a man from home this morning in Gray's Ferry, and we're told the 6-year-old little boy and 10-year-old little girl who the firefighters rescued saved their lives, as well as one adult. We don't know if the man is their father, grandfather, relative, but they have rescued all of them. The children at shop this morning, everybody's in stable condition. Kudos to those firefighters, and no word on what started that fire. It's under investigation. We've been covering, of course, for you all week, day 9 now, of the search for convicted killer who escaped prison in Chester County, Danilo Cavalcante. Still missing, still out there, but authorities by the hundreds, some of them in tactical gear, full combat gear, tracking dogs, canine, cops on horseback, as well as aircraft and drones, still searching for him 24/7. They've caught other images of him on another trail cam at Longwood Gardens, and that means that Longwood Gardens is shut down to the public today. However, they do feel he's walking around in circles, hot, hungry, thirsty, so they feel they're going to get their man soon, and the storms are looming as well.
Wow.
Hopefully the weather helps.
So walking around in circles, hot, humid, exhausted. Sounds like me looking for my golf ball later this afternoon around 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Mr. Cavalcante. Maybe I think Cavalcante just wants to make it to the Friday
Oh,
cut
my
sheet.
goodness.
And then he's going to hand himself in.
Yeah.
So
It's always the best one.
877-WANTED-2 is the number, $20,000 reward for any information that leads to his capture. A convicted killer, not just here in Pennsylvania, but as well in Brazil, where he is charged and accused of murder, but evaded authorities and fled illegally to this country. So we do have that Pennsylvania canine named Loki, who is on the mend as well. It's been tough for everybody, whether they're 4-legged or 2-legged, as these search crews in record heat, going through the dense woods, thick underbrush, and just hot weather. A heat wave made the search very, very difficult. But they do feel they have him contained within 8 to 10 acres. Other news of the day, we have a state line analysis of data that's federal data, finding that accidental drug overdoses were the number 1 cause of death for people under the age of 40 last year in Pennsylvania.
Wow.
And so some call this the 4th great wave of accidental ODs in America, as you know, Pennsylvania, just like the rest of the country, debates how best to use the share of the billions of the legal settlement we're talking about with companies that turbocharged the opioid and drug epidemic.
I'm not surprised in the least by this. You think about coming out of the pandemic, everybody having mental health issues that were exacerbated during the pandemic, and then you sadly revert to some sort of coping mechanism and then accidentally overdose or whatever it might be. I mean, I would think there's maybe some correlation.
Yeah, I think you make a great point that we already had the opioid crisis. And then to your point, Nick, when the pandemic struck, it just supersized everything, including what you're talking about.
Yep.
The opioid crisis. That's a great point. And this goes to the Sackler family. That still remains in the courts. But we in Pennsylvania have this $26 billion legal settlement. So there's a lot of wrangling about the transparency or lack thereof of how they're going to dole out that money. And should then Attorney General Josh Shapiro, who's now our governor, should he have really struck that deal along with other attorney generals across the country? Even DA Krasner here in Philadelphia had said that's not enough money. So we're following it, but oh my goodness, the number 1 cause of people under the age of 40.
Wow, it's terrible.
Debt relief. So this is from Politico, and Spotlight is highlighting this. So I just wanted to point it out that in Pennsylvania, there's sponsored legislation that would use state funding to purchase and then forgive Pennsylvanians' medical debt, not student debt, medical debt. So nationally, they're looking for ways to help 100 million Americans facing such medical debts try to deal with this. And medical debt worth $1.6 million was recently burned off in Pittsburgh and Philadelphia.
This would be like a medical debt forgiveness bailout program where if you're making payments for stuff beyond your insurance that you can't afford, you'd be forgiven.
Yes.
Okay.
And especially, because it was, again, to your point about, ODing and the opioid crisis, I think part of what they're saying is, I know for us, because we had sick kids, it wasn't my husband or me, but the medical debt, all the costs of everything's going up, and then you end up with this huge medical debt.
Yeah.
So it actually affects a ton of people, and across the board. So I don't know how they'll parse that. Will they look at people with a certain income? That to me is an interesting story because it's 100 million Americans.
Does it make me a hypocrite that I would be on board with this, but I look at the Biden student loan bailout program and I'm totally against that? If you think about it, you pay for health care and you have a copay and you have a deductible and then you still owe money out of pocket. It just seems like something's wrong with that system. That's just always been my general takeaway as an adult, but I could be off base here.
No, I think you're onto something because with student debt, what you have chosen which school you're going to.
Right.
So you could have gone to a state school and paid and lived at home and paid $8,000 or $9,000, but instead somebody who chooses to go to a fancy elite school,
like Matt DeSantis going to Harvard,
but he's now living at home and paying off, and
and he'll be doing that till he's 53, like John Fetterman.
And we moms always we love that. Stay at home, honey. But on a serious note, those 100 million Americans, they did not choose that medical debt.
Right.
They had something happen to them, or maybe a loved one, a child. And so it is different because you did not choose it. You did not sign on a dotted line. You rushed to an emergency room, and then you have like $100,000 in emergency bills. What are you supposed to do? Not rush your kid to the ER?
Right.
So to your point, that one's going on. Exciting sports this weekend and Friday and Saturday football, high school football, and on our air here on PHT. I love our Friday nights. I love this show.
The Friday night, the high school football scoreboard show will air tonight at 10 o'clock every Friday in the high school football.
So we've got that tonight, Penn State tomorrow, and the Phillies Sunday.
Yes.
You're going to get a lot of angry tweets, Greg. What's up with all this sports?
No, but the high school show,
the numbers say differently. But
yeah. Can I tell you something? I remember even at CBS 3 and Fox 29, they realized this. There were some managers who were also like sports parents, and they said, no, we're gonna guarantee we're gonna cover every game. And they even had shoppers going over it. And the ratings just went through the roof because you love it.
Yep.
It's just the human story. So no, I love this time of year. It's awesome.
Same here.
Don't love the rain. And Nick, what time are you going to be on the golf course?
That'd be 1:03, dear.
Okay, you should be okay. It'll be hot, but the storms are going to hold off for you, so you'll be sweating, but it'll feel like it's 103 degrees.
You golfing with Bill from the B101 morning show?
I would refer you to the White House.
I will not confirm or deny that.
Look at you. Look
Yeah.
at you.
Yeah. Look at you.
Because Bill, told his family, I'm going to be working a little later today.
Yeah.
So today, it will feel like 103 degrees. It looks like a 50-50 chance that rain will strike and stick around for tonight's Phillies game in South Philadelphia against the Marlins. So hopefully it's not a washout. We would hate to see that. And then tomorrow, the high 87 degrees. So finally, we're in the 80s, although I'll be at 87 degrees. And the sun does come out. So it's that sort of tropical pattern where you see a pop of storms and fast-moving rain. Then clears out and then maybe returning in the afternoon. So just watch it carefully, but I'm not going to cancel any plans. And then for your Sunday, wow, it's going to feel awesome. 82 degrees on Sunday, scattered thunderstorms in the morning, and then mainly cloudy during the afternoon with some more thunderstorms striking in the afternoon, a high of 82 degrees. So it looks like 70-plus chance that we'll see the storms and showers for Sunday, but there'll be a midday period there where it's just cloudy. So if you're going to golf or have plans or that sort of thing, and of course, Eagles in the afternoon, it's against the Patriots, and it's not a home game anyway. So this is Kayal and Company News Live, and we are sponsored by Best Work Industries for the Blind, their e-commerce store helping businesses succeed in all work environments. BestWorkSupplyCenter.com, offering traditional office products, cleaning supplies, furniture tech, and much more. Free shipping, next day delivery. Shop now. Save at bestworksupplycenter.com. Kayal and Company News Live.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. 855-839-1210. Cut sheet coming up in just about 30 minutes. Also, we mentioned some of the COVID stuff. There's a new variant out there that people are already starting to hit the panic button over. And then if that's not enough, we apparently have a bird flu mutation that could leave humans vulnerable to infection just in time for another election. Very interesting stuff. We'll get to that coming up in a little bit. But yesterday I thought was pretty interesting. Ron DeSantis has had a rough stretch, and then we thought he had a relatively good showing 2 weeks ago at the Fox GOP primary. But some polling numbers indicate that his donors were not overly impressed. We gave you the story yesterday that 34 of his 50 donors that have donated $160,000 or more to the Never Back Down Super PAC have abandoned ship. But DeSantis, I think, starting to feel a little bit of the pressure, although I thought yesterday's response, which we'll play for you in just a second, was absolutely warranted. And if you don't know what we're talking about, let me set this up for you. So yesterday, DeSantis held a COVID press conference on Thursday that turned into a heated battle when someone asking a question accused him of having allowed the racially motivated mass shooting in the city several weeks ago. But what's interesting about this exchange, and you'll hear it in a moment, the man that's asking the question is a veteran. So it started off very friendly because, as you know, Ron DeSantis is a veteran who served in the armed forces. So they had that little bit of a pleasantry and exchange, and then the question would ensue. And DeSantis, in typical DeSantis fashion, when he gets hit with something that he disagrees with, something that's wrong, or he just doesn't want to hear, he will, a lot of the times get very emphatic and then kind of shout down the question and go to task, and then he gets usually a pretty good round of applause. So here is the exchange yesterday between Ron DeSantis and a reporter during his Thursday COVID presser. Take a listen.
Yes. Ms. Bell, I'd like to say thank you for your service as a military veteran. I'm a retired combat veteran as well. What service? U.S. Air Force. Okay, thank you for your service. So I'm here today because I'm one of the Americans who do not agree with all the policies. I feel that you have enacted policies that hurt people like myself, people that I love, the men and women who are my children. You have allowed weapons to be put on the street in the hands of immature, hateful people that have caused the deaths of the people who were murdered a couple weeks ago. Trayvon Martin was not the first.
So first of all, I did not allow anything with that. Well, listen, excuse me. I'm not going to let you accuse me of committing criminal activity. I am not going to take that. I am not going to take that. So you should. You want to have a civil conversation, that's one thing. Try to say that I'm letting, that guy was Baker acting. He should have been ruled ineligible, but they didn't involuntarily commit him, and so they.
Truth, sir. Please allow me.
No. There is the truth. There is something about the truth. It's not everyone doesn't have their own truth. No. You don't get to come here and blame me for some madman. That is not appropriate, and I'm not going to accept it.
You have allowed people to hunt people like me.
Oh, that is nonsense. That is such nonsense. We've done more to support law enforcement in this state than anybody throughout the United States. Our crime rate in Florida is at a 50-year low. We have enacted policies so that people have a chance to live in safety. We have attracted people to come to this state in large part because we've had a commitment to public safety. So the notion that somehow we're not supportive of safety is absurd. And we've put our money where our mouth is. We've put support behind policies to hold people accountable who hurt other people. You haven't seen us releasing people from prison. When they hurt, when you do the crime, you do the time.
So I thought that was a very interesting exchange yesterday, and there's a couple of reasons I wanted to play that. Number one, it seems like I think the DeSantis campaign went on to say that reporter, they basically characterized him as a left-wing activist, and the way he came off there going from the pleasantries of two veterans to the line of questioning and then kind of attacking DeSantis was definitely very left-wing oriented. But I wanted to play that for two reasons. One is you talk about Florida. Remember we had this story a couple of months ago where I think it was the NAACP or I forget what group was saying they issued a travel advisory warning saying that African Americans are not safe in the state of Florida. Yet, as DeSantis has pointed out, and the stats will bear it, Florida is one of the safest states in the country right now with 50-year record low crime rates. And then I love the way it's always somebody, and I'm just going to assume that reporter was, on the left. They always come after a Republican and say, they question you and say, well, you allow this to happen. And I'm thinking back to our story here locally in Chester County with Mr. Cavalcante and the open border and the fact now you've got Eric Adams in New York saying the Big Apple's going to be destroyed. They have 10,000 migrants coming in every month. There's nowhere else to go. And he was blowing a gasket yesterday in New York City. So it's but think about the hypocrisy of that statement. So everywhere you go, whether it's the state of Florida or a red county or anything under Republican control, the crime rate is always much more contained. Yet we see in Los Angeles, San Francisco, Chicago, New York, Philly, Kensington, everywhere you go, Atlanta, crime is at an all-time high because they don't prosecute criminals. Police chiefs like Danielle Outlaw, they have their hands tied, so to speak. The district attorneys don't prosecute the crimes. No cash bail. Yet it's always these left-wing agitators or biased reporters that will try to come after a Republican in a red state or a red township or city and say, this is on you. Their blood is on your hands. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. In this country right now, we have crime that's completely out of control. And then when this stuff shows up like Danilo Cavalcante comes across illegally into this country, murder, issues in Brazil, climbs out of a prison like Spider-Man, and the community's public safety is at risk, where's all the blame for the people that have allowed this to happen? Like the Biden administration with open border policies. And that's why I love when guys like DeSantis or Greg Abbott or any of these Republican governors ship people on a bus and say, here, go to New York City, go to Martha's Vineyard, go to Philadelphia, go to these safe zones, so to speak. And then when they arrive in blue cities, then it's like, oh, my God, we're full. We can't take any more. But yet it's never an issue until it shows up on your doorstep. So I find that to be very, very hypocritical of the left. And I'm not surprised by it. But I did like the fact that DeSantis kind of shouted that guy down saying, no, I'm not going to allow you to blame me for some madman who committed apparently a racially motivated murder or murders. I'm not even sure really what story they're talking about. I haven't followed Florida politics on a daily basis, but I thought that was a good moment for DeSantis yesterday, kind of shouting that individual down. 855-839-1210 if you would like to jump in. Cut Sheets coming up at 7:45, and on the other side, bird flu and the new COVID variant. More fear porn. We're back after this. Nick, Dawn, and Greg on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
The NFL season started last night, and the Birds play on Sunday, 4:25 against the New England Patriots. Get ready for the NFL season with an incredible offer from FanDuel Sportsbook in partnership with the Valley Forge Casino. It's America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Plus, and this is the best part, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off the NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. But you got to hurry because the offer ends 9/18/23. I love the FanDuel app. Now is the best time to join FanDuel. The app is easy to use and you can bet on everything from spreads to player props to so much more. So visit FanDuel.com/Greg and kick off the NFL season with an offer you won't want to miss. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT and he's the official partner of the NFL. 21 and over, President PA. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. The NFL Sunday Ticket offer ends 9/18/23. No refunds, terms, and embargoes apply. $100 off the NFL Sunday Ticket, not YouTube TV. YouTube TV base plan required. To watch YouTube TV, redemption requires a Google account and current form of payment. Commercial use excluded. Subscription renews. Cancel anytime.
So many listeners are enjoying beautiful, easy-to-maintain homes thanks to Rhino Shield, and you can too. Dom Giordano here with my good friend, the local owner of Rhino Shield. John, take it away.
Hello, it's John from Rhino Shield. For years, you've heard about our exclusive elastomeric ceramic house paint with the unheard of 25-year warranty. Today, I want to ask you, do you need to paint your home? Maybe even been putting it off for too long? If your answer is yes, then ask yourself if you want to paint it one last time or if you want to be painting it again in 5 or 6 years. Rhino Shield can make your next paint job your last. Rhino Shield is waterproof, protects your home, is affordable, and looks great on any exterior surface. Let Rhino Shield show you how you can be done with frequent painting. Call us today at 484-406-5111 for a free consultation. That's 484-406-5111.
Football is back, and so is Cash the Ticket. Jim Costa with Mike Valeni every week this fall. That's picks, parlays, and that sweet, sweet value, Cactus included, on all the NFL and college football matchups. Full breakdowns on the biggest games, but if you have a life, you don't have 45 minutes to spare, we've got you. We're the most on-demand podcast. We're catered to you and the teams you love. That's Cash the Ticket. Listen on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Ty Burrell, actor and small business owner. I'm going to show you my 5 steps for making the perfect radio ad. This one's about innovation refunds and the ERC. First step, be relatable. As a small business owner, I know that filing for the ERC tax refund can feel complicated and confusing. Also, I like pizza and puppies. There, done. Step 2, cold hard info. The ERC, or Employee Retention Credit for long, is a tax credit for eligible businesses that kept employees on payroll in 2020 and 2021. So if you qualify, Innovation Refunds Network of Independent Tax Attorneys could help you claim it. Step 3, call to action. Go to innovationrefunds.com to get started. Step 4, the jingle I wrote myself. Actually, scratch that. Just go to innovationrefunds.com or call 1-843-REFUNDS and go to step 5. Legal stuff.
Innovation Refunds does not provide tax or legal advice. We work with an independent network of tax professionals. Terms and conditions apply. Ty is a paid spokesman.
Yeah. It's a masterpiece.
Hey, it's Rich. Zioli, when you're involved in an accident, you need a lawyer to help you maximize your recovery and get the fair value of your case. You need the law offices of Thomas G. Skopanich. My buddy Tom has been serving the greater Delaware Valley for over 25 years, and he's helped many clients. With offices located in Lansdale, Montgomery County, let Tom help you maximize your recovery and get the fair value for your case. Contact Tom at scopelawyer.com or 215-624-2211.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and I have a serious heart condition called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, or HCM. Some symptoms include being short of breath, feeling tired, or having dizziness or chest pain. I still had symptoms on my beta blocker, so I asked my cardiologist about any treatment advances. It was a breakthrough for me. That's why I'm working with Bristol Myers Squibb to raise awareness about HCM and to help others like me. Talk to your cardiologist today. You may be glad you did.
Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb. Fargo, the new virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And that's just the beginning. Do you Fargo? You can in the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Terms and conditions apply. Your mobile carrier's availability and message and data rates may apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Don't let them silence you. Follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download Download it now.
Well, I started out down a dirty road. Started out all alone.
7:32. Kayal and Company. Friday morning. Nick, Dawn, and Greg. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Get us on the free Odyssey app. Watch us live on YouTube. What's on the cut sheet coming up in just about 12 minutes. Also, our morning mystery movie clip, a great $50 gift card up for grabs this morning at 9:20. And 9:50 this morning, another keyword for your chance to secure a free trip to Walt Disney World. We've been doing it all week long. We will do it all month long for the month of September. Also, later on this morning, does Elon Musk regret giving Tucker Carlson free reign for Tucker on Twitter? As Tucker Carlson's latest Tucker on Twitter episode has drawn a lot of attention surrounding Barack Obama and some allegedly prior activities.
I mean, does he vet any of these stories?
I have no idea. But I saw a lot of either, if you want to call them Republican social media influencers or conservative influencers, and they're all it's like a little echo chamber. They all tweet the same stuff all day long, and I'm thinking, if this is what we're going to hang our hat on, you're going to take you're not going to win in 2024. Then
I look at this two different ways. As a purely entertainment thing, these guys' claims are super interesting and super entertaining, but I also think that there's 0.0 chance that he's telling the truth.
Yeah, I've heard that the guy that explained the story, and if you don't know what we're talking about, this guy alleges that he had male-on-male relations with Barack Obama, I think in 1999.
And smoked crack with him.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe he was confused with Hunter Biden. I don't know.
It's so, I mean, any thought of Tucker Carlson and journalism just went out the window.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at it from a purely entertainment and getting clicks and Jerry Springer type stuff, then it's I think it's entertaining.
Sure.
But it's not credible.
No.
Just like the guests on Jerry Springer's show weren't credible.
Right. Although Steve the security guard ended up getting his own show after that show, and worked out pretty well for Steve-O.
I just don't understand I don't know.
It's just all about making a splash. That's all they care about. But see, this is why, and we'll get into it more a little bit later, but this is why I say at times I think Tucker Carlson can be incredibly brilliant. He's on to something. He'll say the stuff that nobody will be willing to say that has a lot of merit and truth to it. And there's times like this where many people are sitting there saying, yeah, the guy that you're interviewing might not be the most credible individual. And, well, why are you bringing this up 24 years later and so forth and so on?
Yeah, I mean, he had that. I loved and retweeted that interview that he did with the Prime Minister Viktor Orban, and who was talking about the world stage and looking at Trump from a different lens, and all of the Prime Minister of Hungary. And it was a fascinating interview, and you learned so much from it. And so to go from something like that to some dude who is alleging something happened quarter century ago and it's all icky. I didn't even listen to it. I just went, ugh.
Well, people gobble it up because those rumors and that speculation has been floating around for a long time, and then we're coming off of the Obama chef that died or drowned in the lake or whatever. So, but I think
it's just icky.
I think the only reason it's somewhat pertinent today, not what he does in his personal life, I couldn't care less about that, is a lot of us feel like we're living in the third Obama term. If we're thinking about it from a substantive political level, and if you say, well, Joe's not really calling the shots, somebody else is, and you get put two and two together.
But Dawn's point is a good one, is that he has to pick a lane. He's either going to be the guy who's going to interview, do these deep dives into Ukraine and stuff. And I've said this. He can do a masterclass on takes, like monologues. He's the best at it. He's one of the best I've ever seen. Might be the best I've ever seen. So pick that lane. Don't don't do.
But is that lane always available to you, though? If you're going to try to put out from a
yes, of course.
Well, let's look at it from from a content standpoint. You know, I mean, he does a couple of these a week now. I mean, I feel like a lot of them have lost some steam. It's like the Facebook files and the Twitter files. Like the first couple ones I was interested in, and then I start to lose interest.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess, forget from a journalism standpoint, because like you said, a lot of times you throw journalism out the window with these talking heads anymore. And I would say that applies to, whether it's Ari Melber or Mehdi Hassan or anybody on Fox for that point. I'm pretty fair with that. I've said many times a lot of this is performance. A lot of this is theater. I think sometimes Tucker goes from serious journalism and digging deep to kind of throwing crap at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah, and it's like, could Obama be gay? I mean, I don't know, maybe. Like, who cares?
Right,
like,
that's my thing. And I saw so many people obsessing about it. I'm like, see, this is the type of stuff that you're going to get caught up in, and it has no bearing on 2024. Like, if you can't stay focused on the task at hand, and you keep going for like the tabloid National Enquirer salacious stuff, you're going to lose again.
Some of the, I agree with you, but the tabloid National Enquirer stuff though sells. I mean, it's like this was clearly meant for the social media crowd.
Yes.
And if that's the field you're playing in, then that's the field you're playing.
Technically, that is what Tucker's playing in now,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Because he's doing the show on Twitter.
Yeah.
That's his platform these days.
But even Dave Portnoy, who I guess was in the room with this guy because they must have taped it
a bunch of them, yeah,
back to back. He says, I don't.
Yeah, he said he has zero credibility.
Yeah, I mean,
but then again,
does
Portnoy have credibility? I don't know.
No, but it's just icky. And what are you saying, Tucker? So 25 years ago, you want to go back and Tucker, do you want somebody to go back 25 years in your life and see what you experimented with?
Yeah.
Back in the day?
We'll do it live! Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. So be careful what you shovel up. I just think stick with the issues. And if you think that it's Obama's third term and he's still relevant, which many think he and Michelle Obama are relevant because there are still rumors. Michelle, run, Oprah, run, whatever.
I bring it up all the time.
Right? You do, Nick. And so then stick with the issues. Stick with serious stuff that actually matters. And so this is just a diversion that then justifies when the left and the so-called mainstream media says really, they say nasty lies and repeat nasty lies about people on the right. Well, you're just shoveling it back instead of sticking with the issues of the day and what impacts people.
That's right.
That's my view.
I agree. 855-839-1210. Cut sheet coming up in about 5 minutes, which will include Kamala Harris, Whoopi Goldberg, Donald Trump, Mike Pence, and a few others, including Rand Paul. And apparently the whoopster, because she called into The View wearing a mask at home by herself.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
And yeah, because if you didn't hear the news, Whoopi Goldberg tested positive for COVID.
Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers to her, Dr. Jill, and everybody else that's tested positive this week.
But they're fine, right?
Felt the need to advertise it. Speaking of COVID and advertising, there's a couple of things in the news. We'll start, before we get to COVID, this is in the New York Post. And I've noticed this too. The New York Post loves to sell and peddle a little fear from time to time, like the New York Times, even though for the most part I much prefer the New York Post. But a bird flu mutation could leave humans vulnerable to infection, so says experts. This in the New York Post today. Bird flu is back with a vengeance. Medical experts have discovered that one variant of the avian flu virus, dubbed H3N8,
Enjoy tax-free shopping and an
Ooh.
Yeah, we're going to get tax-free shopping. You're going to get bird flu tax-free shopping when you go and buy a Kayal and Company sweatshirt. Wow. How about that? But the medical experts have dubbed this H3N8, and it has undergone several mutations and now can cause more severe infections. Additionally, the H3N8 virus, which is endemic amongst poultry farms throughout China, is transmissible by airborne droplets between animals that have no physical contact. They say human populations, even when vaccinated, could be vulnerable to infection at epidemic or pandemic proportion. The variant has been found in horses, dogs, and seals, as well as birds, but it has not made the leap into human populations yet. In March, however, a woman in China became the first known human fatality of this virus, which they say likely became infected while at a wet market, an open air market where animals live and are bought and sold. Let me just say this about this. I'm so tired of seeing wet market. Now, I don't know what we could do about that in America, but it seems to me like these Chinese wet markets are just kind of like a gathering place of all sorts of bad stuff that can kill human beings. Like, it's bad enough that we do, the gain of function research, which you're going to hear Rand Paul in the cut sheet in a couple of minutes, and the dangers of playing with this fire. Remember, we had this story, a handful of, this had to be in the spring or the winter, where there was the laboratory over in England where they were experimenting with more deadly variations of the virus. And, I understand that to some extent that you have to do this type of research to, quote, get out ahead of it in front of things. But it seems to me like these wet markets are an epic disaster when it comes to when something can be transmissible from any sort of animal in this setting to a human being. So that's the latest coming out of the bird flu mutation. And now the experts, when it comes to COVID and new variants, say there's a new variant called Pyrola, Pirola. And that is apparently dubbed BA.2.86. Sounds like a bingo card if you ask me. They're saying this one is drastically different than the dominant variants that are circulating now, according to a scientific advisor for the CDC. What's unknown is how transmissible the variant is and whether it will spread widely or fizzle out like many of the other variants in the past. And another important outstanding question they claim in the Wall Street Journal is whether it causes more severe disease. So one just takeaway on this, and this seems to be the common theme. Every time there's a new variant, every time there's new cases, they love to tell you, to get you to buy into the fear. Yet they always qualify it with, well, we're not sure how transmissible it is, how your, the antibodies that you have built up in your system already will respond to it. And then they usually come back and say, the current booster available will likely provide you X amount of layers of protection against it, which makes me ask the question, if you don't know the answers to some of the questions you're posing, and you're presuming that the current booster available will protect you, why are you peddling the fear in the first place? It seems like if you don't know whether or not, because it seems like every variant that we've had since the original strain and the Omicron variant, they've all been maybe more transmissible but less serious, which to me, I draw the conclusion of that I'm not remotely concerned about any of it. Forget the transmissibility doesn't bother me. We're all going to get the cold. Mm-hmm. We're all going to get, the flu. We're going to cough. We're going to have a runny nose. We're going to feel the aches. But if it's less severe, then I don't really, to be honest, I really don't need to know about it. Nor do I care, honestly, because I'm so over the whole COVID hysteria stuff. But, there are some people like Howard Stern who, they might go out to a concert or out to dinner for a couple of nights, and then they go back inside and maybe get divorced because their wife thinks that they're afraid to leave. Or like Whoopi Goldberg, you'll just phone into The View wearing a mask on Zoom from your house to advertise masks.
Yeah, I know that there's, COVID is in the news again.
It never goes away.
And I know. And it's just stop. I just want people, I cannot believe they're continuing with these narratives going into 2024 with the elections coming up in November and then the presidential coming up in 2024. Yep. I cannot believe that anybody thinks, because I do believe that there are some people, like you're saying, Nick, who genuinely buy it all and really think, oh, we're in danger. But there are others who I think it's a sin. They are doing this for political reasons to create the fear. So there are two different subsets here.
Right. Well, and also the timing of going back to school.
Yeah.
And again, we got schools and masks and school closures. I saw they canceled a high school football game in California due to a COVID outbreak. Really? In the fall of 2023, we are canceling outdoor sporting events because there was a few COVID cases in your classroom.
Now, if they said that they had a vicious flu outbreak or some kind of norovirus or stomach thing, that was going around in the high school, I could see, because first of all, your football players are going to be sick as dogs too.
Right.
But I mean, I could tell with my own kids. It's like, you know, they play through everything, even if they did test positive with COVID. You keep them home for a couple days, fever goes away, and you follow all the school nurse's rules.
Right.
But there's no reason to shut this down. There's no, for young people, young healthy people, it's actually good to get their immune system back up and running.
That's correct. All right. 7:46 Friday morning. Greg Stocker has another installment of What's on the Cut Sheet.
What's on the cut sheet?
What's on the cut sheet on this Friday is brought to you by our good friends at Cherry Hill Volvo, where they have ample inventory of brand new and beautiful pre-owned Volvos. Enjoy the luxury experience you deserve. They always go the extra mile for their customers because relationships matter at Cherry Hill Volvo. Check them out on Route 70 in Cherry Hill. Thank you, Cherry Hill Volvo, for sponsoring the ever-important and always the best edition, the Friday edition of What's on the Cut Sheet. I want to ask you guys if you think this statement from Mike Pence is going to matters anymore, or matters in 2024, I guess is a better way to put it. He was on CNN yesterday, and he said that he is the most qualified, the most experienced conservative in the race. I'm going to play it for you, and then I'm going to ask you if that, in fact, matters anymore to GOP and Republican voters.
Well, what I hope in the course of this campaign is that Americans come to know me a little bit more like you do, that I was a conservative governor that showed you can cut taxes and balance budgets, as we did in the state of Indiana, expand educational choice, and even reform health care. And I hope people know me as a conservative leader in the Congress that fought the big spenders in my own party. Look, we've got a national debt the size of our nation's economy. We've got to have leadership in the White House that knows how to get Congress off the dime, take on the big challenges facing our nation, particularly our national debt. And I want people to know I'm the most qualified, the most proven, the tested, the most experienced conservative in this race.
No, and no, unless you look at the CNN poll that says Mike Pence would beat Joe Biden by 2 points. I don't know how you can say you're the most qualified and the most experienced. Did Donald Trump drop out of the race? Because Donald Trump has already served as president of the United States.
That's a great point.
So
that's actually a great point.
That's wrong.
Yeah.
And then if you're going to talk about your track record as a governor, well, the guy in Florida is probably doing the best job of any governor in the country right now. So, no, I don't think that really plays at all if you're Mike Pence.
So in a GOP primary, saying to a GOP Republican audience, you are the most conservative, in 2024, you don't believe that matters anymore.
I do not. And I also think he's alienated a big portion of the Trump base that views him, to be some sort of traitor or whatever. So, like I said, for weeks now, I'm not sure who Pence resonates with other than the conservative evangelical Christian section of the Republican base. Other than that, I mean, he's been polling at 5% or less for the most part.
Yeah.
But I think the issue is that what he views as his greatest strength is also his greatest weakness come a general election.
Correct.
Right? In other words, we've talked about the fact the reason Trump chose him as the VP in the first place was that, he has always had credibility as a huge conservative, and that Trump needed to convince the South and Christian pro-life Christians that he indeed had the chops as a conservative, and that he would do that. And so Pence was the proof. But for Pence in a general election to be voted in, it's not going to happen,
right,
because he will be painted as too far right.
Right. And plus, when you look at some of the CNN polling, as we mentioned in the Big Take this morning, Nikki Haley beats Biden by 6 points, the biggest lead of anybody. Pence, Christie, 2 points, Trump, 1 point.
And to your point, and you've talked about it with Nikki Haley, her answers on, for example, abortion are well taken by just a general population, as opposed to something that may be seen as too far right, too conservative.
Which might be working against not only Pence, but DeSantis and others as well.
We're broadcasting live right now on YouTube, streaming live, I should say, on YouTube. If you're watching right now, please hit the like button. We're at 70 likes. If you can hit the like button so we can get to 100 likes, I would appreciate that. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. Hit the subscribe button if you have not done so already. Speaking of Trump, he was on with Hugh Hewitt yesterday. And Hugh Hewitt asked him if he would testify in his criminal trial, and he said absolutely he would. He would take the stand. This is cut 2, Daniel.
So if you have to go to trial, will you testify in your own defense?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
You'll take the stand.
That I would. That I look forward to.
No, I think that obstruction charge is going to get the trial, Mr. President. I think that.
I'll testify.
Okay, if you do, and they ask you on the stand, did you order anyone to move boxes? How will you answer?
I'm not answering that question for you, but I'm totally covered under the law.
Okay.
If you read the Presidential Records Act, just read it. You take a look at it. I'm totally covered under the law. It's a civil act. It's civil. Now, Biden had no civil act. The things he did are criminal.
All right, so he said he would absolutely testify in his criminal trial, take the stand.
Do you think his lawyers will actually let him take
Absolutely
the stand?
not.
So
There's
I say the same thing.
He's going to say he's going to. He's going to say he wants to, but there's zero chance he's going to do it.
This reminds me of when he said he was going to have that press conference at Bedminster at 11 a.m. on a Monday, and then after further review, he said he would not be doing it.
Yeah, what happened to that?
It just, I think his lawyers were like, it's a bad idea.
He was never planning on doing it, by the way.
And by the way, there's nothing wrong with not taking the stand and pleading the fifth and using your constitutional given protections.
Agreed.
It's a sound strategy.
But
because
then,
in the event you get up there and you get put in a predicament and you say something and then it's like, uh-oh, did he, whoops. You don't want to have that whoops moment.
But then why say you'll do it?
You just want to. By the way, why does he always go on with Hugh Hewitt? I feel like is that a weekly appearance? How does he get Trump on all the time? And by the way, where the heck is the Hugh Hewitt radio program? Is that a local show? What is that?
No, it's a national show.
Is it?
Yeah, he's been around forever.
Okay.
He does I actually think he does a morning show. I have no idea. I don't follow.
Does
this
he sell?
nonsense.
Does he sell mugs and sweatshirts?
Does he have the Hewitt Army?
The Hewitt Army.
You referenced this poll earlier. I wanted to play and get back to it here. This is a CNN poll that 61% of Americans say that Joe Biden was involved in Hunter's corrupt business deals, including 64% of independents, which is, it seems troubling for the Biden administration, but we'll see. Check cut 3.
We're talking about, Dana, here, the time when he was vice president, right? Whether Joe Biden was involved in Hunter Biden's business dealings at the time he served as vice president. Overall, if you look here, 61% of Americans think Joe Biden was involved. You can see partisanship drives this, right? Obviously, nearly all Republicans, 90%, believe that. This has been a major storyline and talking point on Fox News and elsewhere. 64% of independents believe that Biden was involved in Hunter's business dealings. 28% of Democrats. And I want to show you, of that 61% overall there that believe he had dealings, 42%, Dana, think that Joe Biden acted illegally when he was vice president in those business dealings. 38% say not involved. 18% said he acted unethically but not illegally. But that is a significant number as well.
So keep in mind, too, this is a CNN poll. And what I find interesting, so 61% yes, so that would be 39% no. After all the evidence that has been presented, whether it's the burner phones, 10% for the big guy, this bogus email address, all the different elements of the House Judiciary Committee showing everything that was going on, how could 39% arrive at the conclusion that they did nothing wrong or nothing illegal? My only conclusion is based on the fact that it's a CNN poll. People are not of the belief of that because CNN has hardly covered this story.
In the partisan world we live in, you can get 39% of people to whatever side of the aisle they're on. You can get them to agree on anything.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So
right.
that's not shocking to me at all because people are dug in with whatever flag they wave.
Also, keep in mind, too, when we've given you the media watchdog reports of how many minutes the networks are spending on Trump stuff versus Hunter and Joe, I mean, it's really laughable that, the Hunter Biden story, short of talk radio or Fox News, it's really not covered at all. I mean, what was it, 724 minutes on Trump, and I think it was 12 minutes on Hunter Biden on one of the networks. I mean, that's a staggering discrepancy in media coverage time spent.
James Carville was on CNN last night. I always go to James Carville because I do think that he is a smart guy. He got Bill Clinton elected in 1992, which was not an easy feat. He says on these polls, he says it's alarming that Joe Biden's poll numbers, and basically he's saying there's not much more else you can say. Like, it's alarming, and Democrats should take it seriously. Cut 13.
Look, these polls seem to get at the elephant in the room when it comes to President Biden. For voters, it's his age that they're concerned about, his mental acuity, his health. What does that tell us?
Well, I guess to say the least, the polls are not were not great, and it tells us that voters are expressing some apprehension here. It's pretty clear. I mean, there's not much else you can say when you look at them. I mean, I guess the best thing you could say is that if anything, they're worse for Trump. But there is apprehension out there. That's undeniable. But on the other hand, I point out we haven't lost an election since the Dobbs decision. So, we were supposed to lose in November in the off year. We didn't really. We're kind of tied. So I don't know. But the polling that I've seen or anybody else has seen is not very good. There was a memo. My friend Jim Messina said, I said, Democrats need to quit bedwetting, but my wife's already changed me to rubber sheets.
I mean, but are you saying then that you're worried, that you think the Democrats should be taking this more seriously?
Well, I mean, it's typically in the August or September before the election, I think President Reagan's numbers were not great. President Clinton's, I know, were starting to move up a little bit, the same thing as President Obama. But you can't look at this and not say that you're concerned. It's just, for me to come on television and say, I don't find this alarming or troubling at all would be stupid of me. I mean, I wouldn't do that.
Greg, how soon do you go to rubber sheets? Abby Phillips had no idea how to respond to that, by the way. Another person with the personality of a paint can.
I take all of these polls with a grain of salt.
I love how it's positioned, though, that it's alarming, but yet everybody that reads these poll numbers that's an anchor on either CNN or MSNBC, they almost act like shocked, like they can't believe the numbers are so low, to which I would say, are you watching this guy?
Yeah.
Every time he speaks, every time he walks, every time they have to make a correction, whether they got to correct Kamala, did Kamala just say the quiet part out loud? And then KJP's got to go up there and do damage control mode. No wonder why the numbers are terrible. And it's whether it's mental health and mental stamina and his current health status, or the economy, from top to bottom. But to me, and they mentioned the Dobbs decision, which we actually put in a big take a few weeks ago. Since that decision, Democrats have not lost an election at any level. I think they are 7-0. And that could be, once again, their saving grace in 2024, despite all the deficiencies of this administration.
Speaking of this administration, Vice President Kamala Harris was on with CBS this morning, yesterday, asking about the election and what she thinks, what the administration thinks of them being down so much at this point. Is cut 11 here.
You were dismissive of some of the Republican criticism of you and the president. When you look at current polling, the front runner for a Republican nomination is the former president, the 45th president.
We will win re-election. We will win re-election. There is too much at stake, and the American people know it.
Democracy is at stake. Vote for us. Very interesting that she deflects from the criticism, because I've got an article here from the New York Post that says Kamala Harris has rabbit ears for detecting criticism. Overly sensitive, colleague says, in new book. So, I mean, if she's got rabbit ears as VP, could you imagine how sensitive Kamala would be as a radio host, checking her Twitter mentions every day?
Or just looking at the
YouTube chat.
The YouTube chat. People are like, what are you talking about? This is the, who cares? This is everybody's so critical of everything everybody does.
That's correct.
It's funny.
But Kamala seems unburdened by the past, and she's ready. She could step in right now if Joe doesn't wake up tomorrow. She's confident.
Well, Margaret Brennan went there. She asked the death question. She's like, hey,
valid question.
Look, we criticized the AP reporter yesterday for asking it more. It's like, well, are you, as vice president, are you ready to step in the role? And she said, yeah, of course, because what else is she going to say?
Right.
Margaret Brennan actually asked her, hey, like, he's going to be 86 if he finishes, like, he might not survive.
Mm-hmm.
Cut 12.
You're 58 now. If you win the second term, as you and the president are running to do, he would be 86 at the end of it. The Wall Street Journal had a poll showing 2/3 of Democrats say Joe Biden is too old to run again. Are you prepared to be commander-in-chief?
Yes, I am, if necessary. But Joe Biden is going to be fine. And let me tell you something. I work with Joe Biden every day. The work that under Joe Biden's leadership our administration has accomplished is transformative. I think the American people most of all want a leader who actually gets things done.
Look, I work with Joe every day, and Joe specifically works every day from noon to 4. And during those 4 hours, Joe puts in a ton of work and achieves a lot of things for this great nation. You know, Joe projects weakness on many levels, but the scary thought of all of this is if Joe Biden, knock on wood, God forbid, because, I don't want anybody to pass away, but Joe Biden dies in his sleep one night, and Kamala Harris is elevated from vice president to president, and you just heard her in that clip there. Do you think Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, do you think they have any fear whatsoever of the United States led by Kamala Harris? Do you think they're shaking in their boots? I would say no. But hopefully we don't get to that point.
You mentioned this earlier. Whoopi Goldberg has not been on The View because she's tested positive for COVID.
Thoughts and prayers.
She called in. She did a video chat with The View yesterday.
I got to see the video.
She was, if you, youtube.com/@1210WPHT if you want to see the video. She's on camera in a room all by herself wearing a mask. Cut 5.
I have COVID. I just have COVID. I'm still testing positive, apparently. I have to have a clear test before I can come back. So, I can't wait to get back and hang out.
Put it back up.
Until then, it's me and my mask, and I'm sort of confined to my room.
So she's wearing the powder blue cloth mask that does absolutely nothing for anybody. And then she takes it down to continue her conversation. And she's like, oh, it's just me and my mask in my room. It's almost like they romanticize with the mask. Like when I was a kid, I romanticized with the transistor radio and listened to play-by-play baseball. And I put the radio by my pillow before I'd go to sleep. It's almost like they coddle the mask. Yeah, remember the wrestling buddy animals we would have?
Absolutely.
They used to go to bed with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like they just the mask is part of their identity now.
It is. It's theater.
It's really odd.
It's theater,
Oh,
and
of course it is.
she just there was no reason to be on camera. She's in a room by herself wearing a mask, unless you wanted to make a point of look at me. I have this mask that doesn't work, to protect my family, which is not in the room with me. So I don't know what else could it have been other than theater.
Well, she didn't want to transmit COVID to her laptop. She didn't want to infect the Zoom connection with the BA286 variant. Which, by the way, too, when we think about this, remember earlier in the week when Joy Behar came on the air on Tuesday and she was like, "It's back, it's back, COVID." She was excited.
Happy?
Yeah. There was a little giddiness.
It was like the Rolling Stones put out a new song. She was so excited.
They did put out a new song.
I know, but it's just like
you hear it?
I did not. Do you want to play it? You got it?
Maybe later.
All right. Is it okay?
Decent song for a bunch of 80-year-olds.
So music snob Stalker approves of it?
Yeah. Look, I'm a Stones fan, but
Okay.
it's a decent song. They can still get it together. I guess that's why they've been around as long as they have been.
That's right.
Speaking of COVID, it was widely discussed on the Senate floor yesterday. Senator Ed Markey of Massachusetts tore into Senator J.D. Vance from Ohio because he proposed a bill seeking to ban federal mask mandates. It's called the Freedom to Breathe Act, Markey objected and gave a lengthy speech attacking it. We only have a little bit of it, but it basically is saying that the federal government can't mandate masks. This is Senator Markey from yesterday, cut 7.
This bill is little more than an attempt by Republicans to dismantle a public health infrastructure that had to be built in order to deal with this greatest of pandemics since 1918.
The only thing I like Senator Ed Markey for is joining forces with Ted Cruz to keep AM radios in cars.
Thank you, buddy.
Other than that, I've got no use for Mr. Markey. But here's the thing, is yes, the federal government can't mandate these things. You've heard Fauci say it. You've heard the Biden administration say that. But what they can do is they put out the recommendation, and then all of their agencies like the CDC all the way down, the Rochelle Walensky's of the world, and they start saying, well, we are strongly encouraging. And then it gets to the local level, and you've got these nut jobs that are running school districts or courthouses or doctors' offices or hospitals, and that's where you will start to see those mandates pop back up.
By the way, if you're just tuning in now at 8:06, go over to YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. If we can put up, Daniel, if you can put up the Kayal and Company merch. We mentioned it in the 6 o'clock hour. I'll mention it again here in the 8 o'clock hour. We have a store. So all of your wishes, your wants of Kayal and Company's Yoli Army, we'll have Dawn's stuff up. Dawn and I went. We had a little powwow yesterday about what her shirt's going to say. So
you guys went shirt shopping.
We
Nice.
we have some ideas. So there it is, the Kayal and Company merch. There's a coffee mug, a sweatshirt, a women's V-neck tee, and a men's shirt. It's all available online. Just go to 1210WPHT.com, 1210WPHT.com. Click on the link there. It's the merch store or whatever. It's in the upper right-hand corner. You can see it. Click there, and it's all there for purchase if you want to see it. But I don't know. I think it looks good.
I love it.
I love it.
I'm going to get rid of my Yeti, and once I get the mug, I'm going to drink out of the Kayal and Company mug in front of the YouTube cameras.
Oh, good.
Little product placement.
Yeah.
Learned that in high school marketing. 11th grade.
Somebody asked about different colors and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's an option on to choose colors. I know obviously sizes there is, but I'm not sure.
I love the gray.
I do too.
Gray with the white and a little bit of the black in the free speech lives here line.
Dawn was saying she thought maybe a little more vibrant colors, but
it looks like the men's T-shirt is a darker shade of gray than the females, unless it's just
maybe it's just the lighting on the YouTube video.
Gotcha.
I'm not sure, but go there at 1210WPHT.com to order them now. Rand Paul was talking about the vaccine, the boosters and everything, and talking about COVID and the vaccine and myocarditis. This is cut 4.
If you're a young person and have had COVID recently, even the CDC admits this. If you have had COVID within 3 months and you take a vaccine, you have a profound risk of getting an overly exuberant immune response and having the myocarditis because you've had the vaccine in the middle of an immune response that you're making against the disease. And yet, do you recall anyone at one of these pharmacies that are all handing out the vaccine and pushing it? Have you had any example of them saying, well, have you had COVID recently? Maybe you should wait 3 months. No, nobody's paying any attention to natural immunity. Nobody's paying any attention to the natural course of this disease. And nobody's really paying any attention to the danger the vaccine presents to young people.
Yeah, I've had probably a ton of time where I've been out and about since March of 2022, the last time I actually got COVID, by just acquiring it through transmission. Haven't had it since, and I'm interested by what he said there about the pharmacies, because I was driving down to Kyle Pike yesterday, and there's the CVS and the Walgreens kind of catty corner to themselves, and they both have up on their little their little billboard where they put specials up. Both of them are get your COVID shot here, get your flu shot here, get every shot here. If you need a vaccine for anything, come on in, we have it. And then it's like it's advertising season. My Giant in Bluebell, right out in front where the shopping carts are, there's like one of those, it's almost like a campaign sign that you stick in the yard, and it says, stop in here for, I think it was just the flu shot. But it's like it's advertising campaign season for the next 6 to 8 weeks for Big Pharma.
Can you believe, though, that it's 2023, it's September of 2023, and we're still debating this and talking about this? And it's
I don't know that it will ever go away,
Yeah.
to be honest, because there's too much money to be made.
Of course.
And that's why it won't go away.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, Joan on the YouTube chat says she thinks the shirt should be green because kale is green.
Like the vegetable.
Oh, that is a good idea.
And it's also Eagles season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eagles. That's a good idea.
Yeah. They're never happy. You get them
No,
shirts, now
I
they
know.
want
That's-
green ones. Then they're going to want blue ones.
She's
What
just
about
trying
ones
to
with red lettering?
The problem with doing this on YouTube is that now people comment along in real time and they can pick apart everything we do.
Yeah.
Which is we didn't see these
Are
before.
the T-shirts 100% cotton? Will they shrink? I don't know. Just buy it.
Please. The money doesn't go to us, by the way.
Right. It should.
Because we discussed in the 6 o'clock hour that Nick's likeness has been sold to Odyssey.
Yeah.
So
All I got was a badge and an email address, folks.
You don't own your
and
own
a parking
name.
spot.
You don't own your name anymore.
Unbelievable.
So, it goes to the company. Speaking of COVID, Ron DeSantis spoke yesterday, and he took a little shot at Trump, saying that the Trump COVID task force told me to shut down and oppose mask mandates in January of 2021. This is cut 10.
For months, May of 2020, summer of 2020, fall of 2020, even January of 2021, I was getting hit by the White House task force under Trump. This wasn't even Biden, this was Trump. January of 2021, weeks before he left office, they were sending us missives to Florida saying impose a mask mandate and close bars and restaurants and businesses. And that's what they were pushing. And that was pretty much uniform throughout the political and bureaucratic sphere. And it was driven by people like Fauci with no regard for what that would mean for people's livelihoods. And so, we had to be the one to stand in the breach on that. And I just look at like somebody, like a Fauci, part of the problem with our country is that bureaucrats like him have been coddled. They've been put on a pedestal. I think the way you treat bureaucrats like Fauci is you tell them you're fired, get lost. That's what you need to be doing.
Well, he's not wrong about how these guys are coddled, that's for sure. But I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Trump and DeSantis going back and forth on who did what or who said what during the pandemic is a wasted exercise. But I would also add this new take to this back and forth between these two with COVID. Like Republicans or conservatives or those who are anti-mandate or are skeptical of the vaccine or just flat out sick and tired of hearing COVID, we don't want to hear about COVID anymore. That's what the left loves to talk about.
I agree.
I wish these two would just not even bring up anything under the COVID umbrella.
I agree. I agree with you. I think that it does. I understand what he's doing. He's trying to differentiate himself from Trump. But I just think that at this point, people are just tired of hearing it. It's like, okay, let's move on.
Like we don't
I'm
care about
tired
the aha, got you. You said this in January of like, who cares?
It has consumed our lives,
Yes.
some of our lives, for 3.5+ years, and we just don't care about it anymore.
That's correct.
He was also on with Jesse Waters primetime last night, and he's always talking about when he's elected, there's going to be a reckoning with the CDC, the NIH, the FDA, all of that stuff. And Jesse Waters wants to know what something like that would look like. Cut 14.
No. What would a DeSantis reckoning look like? Well, first of all, you take something like an FDA. They're basically a subsidiary of Big Pharma. We're not going to allow people in the FDA to leave the FDA and cash out in pharma. It's like a revolving door. That's why you have them approving an mRNA vax for 6-month-old babies for COVID. There was no evidence to support that. They're doing it because of that relationship. We are going to clean house at places like the CDC. They didn't follow the science during COVID. They followed the narrative during COVID, and that was very, very destructive. So we will clean house with personnel. You're going to have people in with me, like my Surgeon General in Florida. Dr. Joseph Ladapo. You'll have people like Jay Bhattacharya from Stanford. These are people that were right about COVID from day one. They were pilloried by a very politicized scientific establishment, but they stood their ground, and they've been proving right. Those are the people that need to be in positions, not the political actors that we've seen over the last 4 or 5 years.
I like that answer a lot. The Florida Surgeon General, I just believe also when DeSantis got reelected, DeSantis, kept him around. He's been well respected. We've certainly talked about Dr. Jay Bhattacharya here on this show. And he's right. The FDA is basically the pimp for the big pharmaceutical companies. That's all they are. Now, again, I still think DeSantis is full of crap when he says he's going to stuff Fauci into a dumpster and fire him.
Fauci's retired.
I know, but he's like, I'm going to go in there and clean house.
Yeah.
Like, good luck doing that when you get in there.
CNN's Ellie Honing discussing the DOJ reportedly upgrading Hunter Biden gun charges. They're saying he will be indicted by September 29th. This is what he said about that yesterday. Cut 6.
Real quick, Ellie, as Evan said, a sitting president, his Justice Department, likely indicting and trying to take to trial his son, the president's son.
Yeah, Dan, DOJ has given me whiplash on this one because 6 weeks ago they did walk into court and they were ready to get rid of this case for a misdemeanor and dismiss the gun charge. Now they're about to indict him for a felony gun charge, which would likely carry jail time if there's a conviction. The only conclusion that I think is consistent with all this is that the whistleblowers were right, that initially DOJ was ready to go in there and give this deal away cheaply. And when the political pressure amped up, DOJ did a complete 180. And now they've made David Weiss special counsel, and now they're bringing an indictment.
The DOJ looks incredibly incompetent and pathetic here, as do both attorneys on both sides when they tried to roll into that courtroom with that sweetheart deal to which that judge basically read it over, looked it over, and ripped it up and said, yeah, no shot. And then, of course, they get exposed, and now they got to go to the opposite end of the spectrum. But as I said yesterday, this to me is nothing more than okay, we're going to up this with Hunter Biden. Well, we're going to show you once and for all, Republicans, we don't have a two-tiered justice system. And at the end of the day, unless Hunter Biden does jail time, I don't think there's a Republican out there that's going to sit there and say justice was served.
Honestly, I just pulled this because this woman, this representative, always wears these hats, and she's just funny to look at.
Oh my gosh. That's funny because it's bigger than your normal hat. Check it out.
Frederica Wilson was talking to one of the morning shows about student loan debt, and she's all for getting rid of it. She thinks we need student loan debt with no interest, or student loans with no interest.
Oh, sure.
I don't know why anybody would take that deal. It's like, here, let me just give you a bunch of money, and maybe you can pay it back, maybe you don't.
Exactly.
That's a gift. It's not loaning somebody money. But this is Representative Frederica Wilson on that, cut 9.
And speaking of relief, Congresswoman, you have a bill, the Loan Act, to help address the student loan crisis. How will it work?
Well, the Loan Act, you have to think about it. We cannot every year just cancel student debt. So we have to look forward.
She sounds like that old guy in Family Guy. The old pervert.
She looks like she's dressed like Dolly Parton.
Yeah. You really have to see the video. Yes. It's
pink hat,
worth seeing. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT.
Having Burt Reynolds Celebrity Jeopardy flashbacks here with the big yellow hat.
We continue.
What do we do with the class of 2025, 2026? So we start out by doubling the Pell Grant. We start out by reducing the interest rates. And we start out by helping students make a plan as to how much money they actually need, how they're going to get it, how they're going to pay it back. And when we reduce those interest rates, I am really working on a program to have no interest. These will be student loans with no interest. So that's how we're going to fix this, because you just can't keep going into classrooms every year saying to little children in elementary school, you can be anything you want to be.
Actually,
Stay in school, mind your parents, be a good citizen. And when you grow up, you can go to college.
She sounds like a Sesame Street character.
She looks like one, too.
We need to get her, Kamala, and Karine Jean-Pierre together for a dissertation on the pros and cons of student debt. So, yeah, you borrow $10 with no interest, you pay back $10.
Yep.
So the lender doesn't make $1 off of you, apparently.
Fred Flintstone says she has a built-in auto-tune.
Can you imagine her and RFK Jr. having a
No,
chat?
come on.
My goodness.
Dream about helping their parents come out of poverty by getting an education and having a career. And then they dive into a whole sea of student debt because they cannot afford college without taking out a loan.
And that is
so
reality,
we have to find a way to make this a reality for our children.
First of all, I love the pink hat. It's like a... What is that done? That's
It's like a cowgirl hat.
Yeah.
You got the sequins.
Yeah.
The pink.
Which state is she from? Did you say
Bling
that in
bling?
the intro?
I don't know.
Okay.
Probably California.
How about this? As Tim Scott once said, if you take out a loan, you pay it back.
Daniel, can you put a freeze frame of her? Maybe put her in the fourth box.
Can we Photoshop a Kayal and Company sweatshirt on her? No. I'm sure Valdez could pull that off.
Oh, can you imagine?
Yeah. One time I was on Kayal and Company and I said no interest. You borrow 10 and you'll pay back 10.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, we're nice freeze frame there. Look at that. It's like a
yeah.
I mean, at least it's coordinated, right?
You know, if I was like the head of Good Morning America, I'd go all Jimmy Fallon right now and abuse one of our associate producers that booked this nut job on the show.
I don't know. I would book her. I said I pulled this clip just because she's funny to look at.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a I guess I have to be careful. I don't mean that in a sexist way. I just mean that like she's very coordinated.
Yeah.
You know, she has the sequence hat on,
right,
with the pink blazer.
Yeah.
She's matching.
Yeah.
But her actual point
is stupid.
Of a student alone with no interest,
right? You know,
like what? Who's going to sign up for that? Like what? I know the students will,
you know,
but who's gonna what bank is gonna say okay, yeah?
Ultimately, what the problem is here, the tuition and the cost at these universities is just out of control right now. I'm sorry, $50,000 a year for some of these colleges, $60,000. That, and whether that's in state or out of state, to work your way towards a bachelor's degree. And I know, Sucker, you said this in the past about trade school. I think you can save a bundle if you just spend your first 2 years at community college, get all your basic requirements out of the way for $6,000 a year or whatever.
she's in the fourth box.
She's in box 4. Box 4 is the celebrity guest box here on Kayal and Company.
I want that hat. We need a Kayal and Company cowgirl hat.
Yeah, Dawn, the next time you fill in for Zeoli at Parks at Comedy Night, you need to go like Representative Wilson.
Oh yeah, right.
I think that we need.
You know, back in my days.
Just like somebody on the YouTube chat says she sounds like Aunt B on crack.
Aunt B on crack.
But maybe we should. You know what? Honestly, maybe we should welcome this because this seems to me like the undoing of colleges. You know what I mean? Like this bubble is going to burst something fierce soon.
Yep.
And maybe people will start realizing what a scam for the most part colleges are.
Yeah, and like unless you're going to become a doctor or a lawyer or something where you obviously have to go for 4 and then an additional 2, 3, 4, whatever it is, between the costs, and we just gave you the report yesterday on the lack of free speech at these schools.
Yep.
You imagine going to Harvard and being $400,000 in debt and not being able to open your mouth and challenge opinions?
Yeah. That's the whole point of, not letting conservatives speak on campus there and not welcoming debate. And they should have every month, honestly, they should have a conservative and a liberal on a stage and have them debate topics and let the kids. That's what they need. They need.
Wasn't there a television show that had a college debate program theme to it? So now the only people that can debate are politicians is what we're being told.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to debate anything in college. You can't question anything in high school. Seventh graders showing up with a sweatshirt that says there's only two genders. They get sent home and suspended for the week. But so it's only the professionals are allowed to debate these days.
One more, then we'll head it over to Dawn. So apparently all of this retail theft, it's fun to talk about here in Philadelphia, California, places like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it will soon affect consumers because this retail watcher, Heath Herzog, says that consumers will soon pay more because of retail theft surge.
Mm-hmm.
This is cut 8.
Local and state governments need to work with the retailers, or we're going to see this happen quarter after quarter after quarter.
Well, we're seeing a lot of places leave, stores leave places like San Francisco. I think the Nordstrom's just closed there, and places like Seattle. And finally, Heath, I'm hearing some of these CEOs hint at this. I think it was Walmart that hinted at different jurisdictions. Now, they're not calling out names specifically, but do you think they're going to have to at some point say, hey, this city is letting this happen, and we're going to have to close shop if they don't change the laws?
Yeah, and exactly. Why would they call out the specific jurisdictions? It comes down to politics. But you're absolutely right. It has to, they have to, at some point, these cities have to take it into consideration and take it upon themselves to help the retailers. Retailers can only do so much. And as we are seeing, I think this is sort of the last sort of like call for help when you're seeing these CFOs on earnings calls saying, look at how it's eroding our profits. It's now going to start impacting the consumer. We're going to have to turn to raising prices and making sure that we are accounting for all of that attrition and all of that shrink. And it's going to come down to the consumers to have to pay for it. And that's not what they want to do, specifically in the case of Walmart, when they want to make sure that prices are always affordable for everyone. I'm not trying to sound like a Walmart commercial, but that's part of their thing, is to make sure that they have pretty low prices. But with all retailers, those prices are going to they're going to increase to account for this, and it's going to come back down to the consumer.
Remember the old campaign for Walmart, rolling back prices, always low prices every day at Walmart, and they have a little sign, it was $1.29. Now it's $1.09, and it's 99 cents. No, as always, there's a trickle-down effect, and who ultimately pays for it? Us, at the end of the day, because they don't want to prosecute crime, they don't want to stop retail theft. So then these companies lose product, which means they got to pay more to ensure the protection of the product. And what you used to buy that was $3.99 is now $5.29, and you want to know why? Well, there you go. All right. That'll do it for What's on the Cut Sheet Part 1. Part 2 coming up in just over an hour. We've got our morning mystery movie clip at 9:20, a great $50 gift card we'll tell you about as well. And also at 9:50, another chance at your keyword for the Walt Disney World Vacation giveaway. You'll take that keyword that we give you at 9:50 and go to 1210wpht.com and enter it. So we'll come back. We'll get Dawn's Big Three, and then also the Biden administration, the latest appliance crackdown. What are they coming for in your house next? We'll find out, and we'll give you those details on the other side. Dawn's Big Three coming up after this here on Kayal & Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Get ready for the NFL season with incredible offers from FanDuel Sportsbook in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. It's America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Plus, and this is a big plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off the NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. But you have to act now because this offer ends September 18th. So do it now. Go to FanDuel.com/Greg, FanDuel.com/Greg, and sign up right now. Place your first $5 bet and get $100 off the NFL Sunday Ticket. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT, is the official partner of the NFL. 21 and over, President PA. First online real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. The NFL Sunday Ticket offer ends 9/18/23. No refunds. Terms and embargoes apply. $100 off the NFL Sunday Ticket, not YouTube TV. YouTube TV base plan required to watch YouTube TV. Redemption requires a Google account and current form of payment. Commercial use excluded. Subscription renews. Cancel anytime.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And in the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-990-3434. 800-990-3434. 800-990-3434.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra at the Miller Center in Reading on Wednesday, October 18th. And at Springfield High School in Delaware County, Saturday, November 11th.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
I loved it.
All his voices are fabulous, and the fact that he sings.
I couldn't imagine how good it would be with the orchestra. Awesome show.
I've never laughed so much my cheeks hurt. I'm like, yeah. Excellent.
That's Conklin and City Rhythm at the Miller Center in Reading and at Springfield High School in Delco. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com.
JoeConklin.com!
The Dudette Dental Group is the official dentist for the Philadelphia Eagles and would love to care for you. The Eagles trust Dr. D and his team, and you can too. With 30 area locations, the Dudette Dental Group provides specialized care like dental implants, root canal therapy, fillings, and more. During the off-season, take care of your smile and get ready to cheer on our team. Dudette Dental Group accepts all major dental insurances and has pre-season specials on whitening and cosmetic dentistry. Visit PhiladelphiaEaglesDentist.com.
This is Larry Steinhaus of Investor Schooling. I am so proud to announce the continuing success of our students at Investor Schooling. You already know that at Investor Schooling, we teach real estate investing and stock options. Did you also know that we teach things about tax savings, estate planning, and business coaching as well? We teach things about money I bet you never knew. At Investor Schooling, we teach from the perspective of true experience. If you want to see what our students think about Investor Schooling, please check out the over 160 5-star Google reviews. To find out more about how you can change your financial life, go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829, and you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday at 7 p.m. Attend that class and see for yourself what Investor Schooling is all about. Go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829. We can't wait to see you this Thursday.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 1039 FM.
The U.S. Open women's semifinal match was delayed nearly an hour by environmental protesters last night. A judge's order for Texas to remove the Rio Grande floating barriers has been paused by an appeals court, and Hurricane Lee has become a Category 5. It's expected to cause rough surf and rip currents in the Caribbean islands this weekend.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Lose weight and feel great with NJ Diet. NJ Diet uses DNA and blood work to help you lose weight and keep it off. Tune into the radio show Sunday at 2 or visit njdiet.com.
Hey, we got to talk about innovation and refunds. For sure, especially if you run a small business. They've really been helping small businesses and small business owners that qualify to get a business payroll tax refund through the ERC. That's the Employee Retention Credit. So the ERC is a tax refund for businesses who kept employees on the payroll for parts of 2020 and 2021. As you well know, these were some rough years. So if you owned a business with anywhere between 5 to 500 full-time employees during those years, you could have money just waiting for you to claim. If your business faced challenges, for example, to the growth that, it would have had without all the pandemic government orders and mandates, it may be eligible for a substantial refund as well. So Innovation Refunds has hundreds of 5-star reviews on Trustpilot and DuckDuckGo, Google. They're also accredited with the Better Business Bureau, and they're not going to charge you any upfront fees or any money until you get paid. Innovation Refunds does not provide tax or any legal advice. They're going to work with an independent network of tax professionals, and they'll share information with them to evaluate and then process your claims for you and on behalf of you to cut through all the bureaucracy. And it's a tough process to weave through if you're all by yourself. So just go to innovationrefunds.com, innovationrefunds.com, dial 1-843-REFUNDS, 1-843-REFUNDS. Terms and conditions, of course, apply. Innovation Refunds. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Hey, Paoli, we know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Friday morning, Kayal and Company, as we roll on. 8:35 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Nick Kayal, Dawn Stenzel, Greg Stocker, Daniel Valdez, Anthony Dorenzo. Dawn's Big Three coming up in just a moment. Still ahead this morning, the Biden administration now coming for your ceiling fans. So get ready for that, folks. Also, Kamala Harris has rabbit ears. And also the trauma that is trendy. A therapist says that Gen Z embraces sharing their pain on TikTok. Might explain why we play all the clips we do from TikTok here on the Cut Sheet, Part 1 or Part 2, where people are breaking down and pontificating on their life. And also, still ahead this morning, just 12% of Americans, mostly men, are eating half of all of the beef in this country. That commercial Arby's always runs out, we have the meats. Well, apparently 12% of American men are probably going to account for a lot of the beef consumption, so they're probably going to have the meat sweats. So they might want to mix in a salad from time to time. We'll get to that as we continue as well. Morning Mystery Movie Clip at 9:20, keyword at 9:50. But before all of that, let's get to Dawn Stenzelin's Big Three at 8:37.
It's the Big Three at 8 on Kayal and Company.
And sponsored by ShopRite this morning. New details on Hunter Biden emerging. And these are published excerpts from his deposition in a local civil suit, and portions of that deposition included in a motion filed by computer repairman John Paul Mac Isaac in a Delaware court yesterday. This is part of counterclaims between Mac Isaac and the president's son. So the deposition revealing that Hunter still denies that infamous laptop is actually his, but the president's son says he's embarrassed by those photos, many of them selfies, of him using drugs and partying naked.
So the pictures are his. It's just the laptop that is not.
Yes.
This level of denial, you know what this reminds me of?
What?
About 20 years ago when the government got involved with Major League Baseball with all the players that were taking steroids. And guys like Roger Clemens were known to have taken steroids, and they denied it so much, and they were so adamant about it that you almost got to the point where they actually believed they didn't commit the crime. That's what this reminds me of Hunter Biden. Like, if you keep saying it long enough, eventually you convince yourself that you didn't do it. That's what this really reminds me of.
Mac Isaac suing Hunter for defamation over his claim that the laptop he dropped off for repair April of 2019 is not his. He was hacked or stolen. Biden countersuing Mac Isaac for invasion of privacy. So in this latest deposition that we're just being able to see the excerpts of because of yesterday's filings, Hunter refusing to admit he visited the Mac shop in Wilmington, Delaware, twice in April of 2019, despite the fact that Mac Isaac presented evidence that that Hunter Biden signed a work order and then shared all of his personal contact information. But here's the complicating factor here. Mac Isaac is, in fact, legally blind and cannot identify Hunter by sight as the actual person who dropped off the laptop. So that's the complicating factor.
We have the blind leading the blind here, so to speak. I guess the logical question would be, and I'm assuming the answer is no, that the computer shop did not have video surveillance, or there's no video surveillance out on the street, on the sidewalk, that would be able to say visually, here's your visual confirmation of Hunter Biden walking in. I guess that doesn't exist.
Apparently not.
Okay.
So Hunter had reportedly uploaded those homemade porno videos to Pornhub under the alias Harper, although you don't see his face in those, but the laptop also contained info about his foreign business dealings in Ukraine and China while Daddy was vice president. So those foreign business dealings under investigation by special counsel David Weiss, again, Delaware connection here, also the focus of the probe started by House Republicans in Congress. So in the separate filing this week, not a good week for Hunter Biden. In Hunter Biden's criminal case, separate case, prosecutors indicating there will be an indictment in his tax and gun case by September 29th. And we've told you that. Hunter Biden's attorneys say they have a deal to avoid trial or jail. Remember that Delaware judge said no deal back in July. Now, charges could put Biden behind bars for a decade. That those kinds of charges appear to be back in play and back on the table. And that's according to Wednesday's filing signed by special counsel David Weiss.
We should post a poll question either on Twitter or in the YouTube chat. Will Hunter Biden ever serve a day in prison? I'll vote no.
I would agree with you. This is a disturbing report that's out blasting the New Jersey and Governor Phil Murphy's administration, saying that hundreds died at New Jersey's veterans' home as the state was unprepared to keep them safe. It's just a scathing new report by the U.S. Justice Department slamming New Jersey officials who, quote, systematically violated the constitutional rights of residents and United States military veterans at Veterans Memorial Homes. This is the state-run nursing facilities that care for veterans as well as their families. The federal investigation found the state failed the veterans, failed to implement adequate infection control protocols, failed to provide adequate clinical care and provide oversight of the facilities. Governor Phil Murphy responding and calling the report deeply disturbing, and said that his administration made policy changes since then to improve conditions. And they've hired private management firms for at least two of the homes. But we remember the harsh criticism that was, Jack Ciattarelli at the time and many Republicans against the Murphy administration. So we'll see if there is a political fallout. We'll see what happens there. But Governor Phil Murphy, to his credit, acknowledging that yesterday.
Okay.
Finally, we talked about COVID. The FDA could approve an updated booster shot as early as today.
Get your boosters here.
So the boosters from Pfizer and Moderna target the XBB.1.5 Omicron subvariant, but that's not even the dominant variant circulating.
No. I can see this one day. You're at like a Phillies game or an Eagles game, and you know how you have like the cotton candy guy and the Bud Light guy walking down with the big thing. You see Fauci coming down from the 700 level with a big box. Get your boosters. Don't be a spreader. $8.
They're not talking about man spread.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Even the CDC admits in their filing that they say while protection wanes over time, 97% of American adults have some level of protective immunity from past COVID infections or from vaccinations.
Mm-hmm.
So these new boosters would expect to boost that coverage. You're talking about 3%, I guess, right. The additional 3%, because we're all at 97%.
97% coverage map. It's like Verizon Wireless throughout the United States. You have a few dead spots, but you're mostly covered.
Good. This is good. And by the way, they're talking about adults because it seems more and more they're talking about adults, especially after, the Senator Rand Paul sound that Greg played earlier. We're hearing less and less about COVID boosters for kids.
Mm-hmm.
So cross our fingers. Okay, let's talk about our sponsor, ShopRite of Drexeline in Drexel Hill, the brand new ShopRite of Drexeline. It's open in Drexel Hill, Delco. This is the supermarket that you've been waiting for with just incredible sales right now, savings and some surprise guests, giveaways, and so much more. So check it out, the brand new ShopRite of Drexeline at 5000 State Road in Drexel Hill, now open daily. Thank you, ShopRite of Drexeline in Drexel Hill, for being our sponsor of our big 3 at 8.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. 855-839-1210 is the number. I was just thinking, too, with some of that COVID stuff you were talking about and the booster and 97%. The other thing that actually really does matter that they don't ever talk about because it's not profitable to Big Pharma or any of these companies is, you know, what you put into your body on a daily basis matters. It might not catch, and this is not rocket science here. This is common sense. But what you put into your body on a daily basis matters. It might not bother you now, but down the road, it'll catch up to you. So believe it or not, if you don't smoke, if you don't drink too much, if you eat well, if you exercise, odds are you'll be much better off when you're 50 or 60 or 70 and you get COVID and you're not obese or you don't have diabetes or you don't have another comorbidity. Because as we saw, and the way they were tracking a lot of these COVID cases and deaths and hospitalizations, and I love the differentiation between, well, you died with COVID or you died because of COVID.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's the one thing that I think we've done, and not us, but I think the government and the spokespeople have done a disservice by not pointing out the fact that the majority of people that died from COVID were obese.
Yeah.
And we could never say, like, it's always get a vaccine or get this or inject this or take this.
Yeah, take this pill.
To help. It's never hey, lose weight.
Yeah, hey, get on a treadmill.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Like we
mix in a salad.
We're in this weird PC world where we can't mention
because you'd be fat shaming
that
somebody.
People are overweight and they need to get in shape if they want to survive and be healthy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that. We should be pushing exercise and weight loss rather than vaccines and weight loss drugs and pills and everything. That it's.
Well, what was the story, Dawn? You had it yesterday. It's, people were shopping their healthcare provider options based on whether or not Ozempic is covered under their plan.
Yeah, yeah, that's exact. And I actually know a mom who did just that. That she took a job because she gained 50 pounds during the pandemic.
Wow.
50. So this is a very tall, attractive young, mom in her 40s who, I mean, it was tough for everybody.
Sure.
I think, what was the average was it the average 19 pounds? Was that what we said? But she gained 50, and she said, I'm just struggling, really struggling. She has 4 kids, and she used to teach spin classes and was always exercising and that sort of thing, and just really gained that weight and is doing everything to try to lose it. And so actually chose a job fairly recently that would cover it so that she can get back in line because she feels unhealthy and she, wants to do that. So for the fact that people are choosing, shopping around with their employer and looking at not just the job, but, okay, do you cover Ozempic? Do you fully cover it? Or Wegovy?
Yeah. It's ridiculous that we're at this. First of all, we don't really even know what Ozempic does.
Of course.
And it hasn't really it hasn't been on the market that long, right?
No.
It hasn't, but I think...
Is that what DeSantis was taking?
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
A lot of people say they like the celebrities and the actors all take it for brief periods.
But didn't Elon Musk say that he used it?
Okay.
I believe. But here's the thing with these medications, a shot once a week. But with Ozempic and Wegovy, and I guess there's some generic versions of them already. But the idea is that for people with type 2 diabetes, I think that's who technically they're designed for, that if you take that and you are under the care of a doctor, that you will lose the weight and it can greatly mitigate those symptoms.
Type 2 is what Michael has, I believe?
No, type 1.
Okay.
Type 1 is the juvenile diabetes. Type 2 is later in life, and it coincides often with weight gain. And so you can actually cure type 2 or put it into remission by thanks to these miracle drugs. So the problem is people who are taking them on the black market, so-called, those are, I think, the cases that we're hearing about, some nightmarish stories. But if you are under the care of a physician and you're going every week and you're under that tight control of a doctor, I'm being told it's making miracles for people.
I'm afraid of these miracle things and what the side effects and ramifications are going to be years later. And I just don't think we know enough. I just think for weight loss and all that stuff, just good old fashioned dieting and exercise.
That's what my dad told me years ago. Nick, it's really simple. Burn more calories than you consume.
Yeah, exactly. Like I since my son has been born, I've put on 7 to 8 pounds, maybe 10 that I want to get off, but like I know why I did it because I stopped running on the treadmill.
Well, you have new added responsibilities.
I just don't have time. So like once I get back to it, hopefully I can lose that weight. But that's all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
my
I'm
diet
gonna
hasn't
push
changed.
back on you. I mean, you didn't have a baby. For women who, for example, have 3 kids, had a baby during the pandemic, I have a lot of friends in this category, and all of the shutdowns, and now you've got your husband's working from home, the 3 kids who are supposed to be at school, they're all home, and
Dawn,
you're
are you trying to argue that men can't have babies?
I'm just saying there are a ton of people for a ton of different reasons.
Yeah.
It's really not that easy. There are physical reasons as well as the life reasons and the mandates and all of that. And there are people who just feel clobbered on the head by the government mandates that have been crippling for people on many different levels. But to try to lose weight amidst that, it's just rough for people. And for type 2 diabetes, ultimately, if you don't get your weight under control, it's going to kill you. And so, yeah, is it a drastic thing to get a shot every week? And is it a powerful drug? It's like I go back to Spider-Man, Stan Lee, with great power comes great responsibility. But this is a powerful drug that does yes, it does strong things. Why? Because you're going to die if you don't get this under control.
Right.
It's dire for type 2 diabetes,
My
right?
dad had it. I know
and
exactly.
and how old was your
60. Yeah.
He died young.
Correct.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
there's your evidence right
There
there.
you go.
And the tragedy of it.
Yep.
And he's missing his grandkids and life. And so these drugs offer the window to that miracle. So I'm not going to put down the drugs or the miracles that pharmaceuticals create. I'm simply saying I'm simply saying we should never abuse them.
Right.
And that's what's happening.
Right.
That once they get on the market, everybody wants it, and it's not for everybody.
Who's profiting from these? That's what I want to know. I just feel like we need to. I understand there's always extreme circumstances in other situations where people like you must lose weight or you're going to die. And in situations like that, yes, give them whatever they need to do. But for the majority of people, like you can't keep this stuff on the shelves. Everybody's using it. For the majority of people, they don't need this. Right. They just need to zip their lips and not eat so freaking much
and put the smartphone down.
Put the smarphone down and exercise. That's all they need to do. Right. So yes, there are 1% of cases that people need this or they're going to die. I get that, but for the majority of people, they don't, and they just use it because it's easy, and nobody knows what the side effects are going to be later on in life.
And I'm not knocking anybody that's got a husband, wife, 3 kids, go into practices. Like, I get it. People have a lot of obligations. But if you just think about one of the things I've always hated is when people say, I don't have time for it. If it matters to you in this lifetime, you make time for it. So just the amount of time, and I'm going to bring up the smartphone example. Just think about you spent 20 minutes on the couch or whatever, and you were just scrolling and swiping, mindlessly just going through whatever social media platform you're on. Like in that 20 minutes time, you could have got on the treadmill and did a mile and a half, burned 320 calories. So it's like, to your point, Stalker, some people, they can't lose it. They have that, what do they call the insulin resistant issue with losing weight? So I get it. There are some times that where good old fashioned diet and exercise doesn't do enough or doesn't do anything.
And that's what the type 2 is.
Yeah. I totally get that. But like the old school approach, all right, well, I consume 2,000 calories in a day. Calories are measurements of energy. How do I lose weight? Well, if I exercise 25, and by the way, that's the thing that really stinks. You eat a donut, like 800 calories. You know how hard it is to burn off 800 calories on a treadmill?
Exactly.
And you're not even full.
Yep.
So
honestly, what I found is the best situation for this, and it's harder with kids because of what kids eat, but don't keep crap in your house, and then you won't get the urge to eat it.
Snacking.
Too
much snacking. Yeah.
So even though you're trying to help by going grocery shopping, don't bring home from the wholesale club all those chips.
Yeah. My daughter Mia loves snacking. Have a snack.
Yeah.
Snack.
Yeah.
Just ate at 5:30 at 6:15. No. Go on the trampoline. Jesus. 855-839-1210 is the phone number. All right, final hour is on the way. The Biden administration appliance crackdown continues. And then also I want to get to these 2 stories that really highlight how soft society has become. We'll do that as we continue. Kayal and Company, 9 o'clock hour is next.
Innovation Refunds does not provide tax or legal advice. We work with an independent network of tax professionals and will share information with them to evaluate and process your claims. Terms and conditions apply. Ty is a paid spokesman.
I'm Ty Burrell, actor and small business owner. You can trust Innovation Refunds with your small business's ERC claim because of their SOC 2 Type 1 security compliance. And if you're a tech person, you know that's a big deal. I'm not a tech person, but I did look it up. Without this certification, how can you be sure a company can protect your information? It's not like here on the radio, where all you need to be secure is a censor button. Check it out. So now you won't know my date of birth is or that my social security number is the password to my bank account is Ty's Cool Password 1. Uh-oh, the button's broken. Luckily, Innovation Refunds is more reliable. Don't wait. Go to innovationrefunds.com. That's innovationrefunds.com or call 1-843-REFUNDS to get started. Oh, a notification from my bank. Wait, I didn't buy a boat.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. When it comes to all your home improvement needs, trust is everything. And that's why for years, I've been talking about the amazing work my friends Stephanie and Matt and the entire team at Emmons has done for me and my home. My roof, doors, windows, siding, and yes, remodeling projects. Emmons can bring that same quality of work to all of your kitchen and bathroom remodeling needs. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, and now baths and kitchens. Emmons is the Delaware Valley's one-stop shop for all of your home improvement needs. Call 856-556-3229 and get a free estimate, or go online to emmonsroofing.com, or even better, come visit the Emmons Design Showroom in Cherry Hill. emmonsroofing.com. It's about trust, it's about quality, it's about great work, and that's why me and my family have used them for basically every project we've done to improve our home. emmonsroofing.com.
The New Jersey Transit Police Department reminds you that we all need to work together to keep our transit system safe. Be alert and aware of your surroundings. If something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. Report suspicious activity to 1-888-TIPS-NJT or text your report to NJTPD. New Jersey Transit urges you to help us keep our transit system safe. Report suspicious activity to 1-888-TIPS-NJT or text your report to NJTPD.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
It's that time of year again to consider replacing your old drafty windows and doors before another long, cold winter season rolls in, and the great people at Guided Door and Window will help make your window and door replacement project more affordable with their buy one, get one half off sale. For every door or window you buy, you'll get a second one at 50% off, and you can mix and match the savings to suit your own needs. Buy an entry door, get half off a storm door. Buy a patio door, get 50% off a window. Need to replace all the windows and doors in your house? Well, you save 50% on half your project. The more you need, the more you save. Plus, Guida is making it easier for you to afford your project with no money down and interest-free financing for up to 18 months. Act now. Offers for a limited time only. Restrictions apply. For full details, call Guida today to schedule a free, no-obligation in-home estimate at 1-877-GO-GUIDA or visit them at GoGuida.com. That's go, GUIDA.com.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
O'Reilly Auto Parts proudly introduces new Brake Best Select Pro brake pads and rotors. For superior stopping power and professional-grade performance, stop at O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
You need cooling, baby, I'm not fooling. I'm gonna send you back to schooling. Way down inside, honey, you need it. I'm gonna give you my love. I'm gonna give you my love. Oh.
9:02. Welcome back in. Fourth and final hour. Beautiful Friday morning. It's Kayal and Company. Nick, Dawn, and Greg. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Coming up at 9:50. The fourth and final keyword for this week for the Walt Disney World Vacation Giveaway. We'll have it all throughout the month of September, every day at 9:50. You take that keyword, you go to 1210WPHT.com and enter it for your chance to win a free trip to Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida. 9:20 this morning, morning mystery movie clip. Today you're playing for a $50 gift card to Liberty Union Bar and Grill, both locations, Phoenixville and Chester Springs, Pennsylvania. Dawn's Big Three. Coming up at 9:30 this morning. A lot of reaction coming in on a couple of the things we were talking about, especially with the weight loss conversation. Richard Nataro says, Stalker, I couldn't agree with you more. To take a drug meant for diabetics to lose weight is ridiculous. A proper diet and exercise is the correct way. Ill Skills says that I just stole his comment while he was in the middle of posting it. If people would just put their phones down one time a day and do physical activity for 20 minutes, not only would they be in better shape, they would feel much better.
Somebody, I think it was Sharon on the YouTube chat, also brought up the fact that like 10,000 steps a day. You know, I wear this this smartwatch.
Yeah, the Apple Watch.
To just keep. I like to see how I'm sleeping. I like to see what my heart rate's at. I like to see, you know, how many steps I'm taking, how active I am in the day. And yeah, if I'm, you know, if it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon and I've only have 3,000 steps in, I'm like, you know, I got to get out and run or walk or do something to, you know, keep my my activity level up. So it's stuff like that you can do. That's not just, it's not, you know, walking 10,000 steps a day is not going to necessarily help you lose weight, but it could keep you active, and it's a good pattern to be in. That's what I'm saying.
And also, there's a lot of people, too, that it's embarrassing, but it's like, you know, if I were to say, well, if you can't put your phone down and you must do, a lot of people that are, especially in my apartment complex where I have the cardio set up in our gym, there are people on there that are on their phone scrolling and swiping while they're walking on the treadmill. So you can actually technically do both if you need to. If you're that so obligated to see what Bobby said on Facebook.
I have a giant TV in front of my treadmill. So I put on like Billions or something on Showtime.
Right.
And it's a nice 45, 50-minute episode, and you can run and walk while you're doing it.
You should go live on YouTube while you're on the treadmill for the audience.
I'm not going to do that.
I think the people would eat it up.
I'm not going to. There's a guy that my wife works with that they do, because they all work from home. You know, they're all over the country. And this guy comes to meetings every day on a treadmill. So he has the phone down like this, and all you can see is the upshot of his face, and he's walking on the treadmill. I said, how annoying is that? She goes, it's super annoying.
Yeah.
Every day he does that.
See, if I was his boss, I would tell him to stop doing that or he's fired.
Yeah.
You're fired.
You're fired.
All right. So the Biden administration, look, they haven't come for enough already, right? They've taken your gas stoves, they've taken your dishwashers, and now they want to come cracking down on ceiling fans. The floor fans are okay. So for all of the people out there that might not be able to afford central air, that have a few air conditioning units, you know the way that works. Sometimes there's a few spots in the house where, boy, that you get that extra fan, that extra circulation. It'll really cool off that certain room. Maybe the upstairs bedroom doesn't cool off as well. The floor fan, okay. But those beautiful ceiling fans that can really chill a room, those are going to go by the wayside. Ceiling fans, now the latest target in the Biden administration's green agenda, which, of course, is sparking pushback from Republicans and manufacturers alike. The Department of Energy is proposing a rule that would require ceiling fans to be more energy efficient, arguing the move would save U.S. households on energy costs. The DOE wants to require ceiling fan manufacturers to make the appliances more energy efficient. According to the Energy Department's analysis, the new rules would save households about $39 over the lifespan of the new energy efficient fan. However, the cost to manufacturers associated with the increased equipment will total $86.6 million per year, the department said. So think about what they're going to try to spin this and sell this to you on. You can save $39 over the lifespan of the fan. Now, I don't know how long a ceiling fan lasts, but I remember my grandparents had this like powerful ceiling fan, and we in the night, and I swear that thing would look like it was like 30 years old. There was all kinds of dust on the top of it, and you pulled the little handle down with the little chain and the bead attached to it. Like, remember those things?
Sure.
And so I don't know. That thing had to be there for 20 years, but they're going to try to sell you on it as the consumer that you'll save $39 over the course of 8, 12, 15, 20 years. And that is enough for you to jump aboard the new energy efficient ceiling fan models.
Those ceiling fans are a godsend, and I would not I can't sleep without a ceiling fan on. Like, I need air circulating when it's just stagnant.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's 10 degrees outside.
Yeah.
I need air circulating, whether it's heat or cool. I need air circulating when
Until
I sleep.
they start to squeak a little bit. It make a real annoying noise as you pull it up on like the highest speed.
Yeah.
And I'm always sitting there, and at our last house before we moved to Tennessee 5 years ago, we had one. And when I put it on the highest speed, I always felt like it was, at any moment, it could come off its hinges and just drop down on the bed and dice me into 14 pieces. And actually, true ceiling fan story, when the Eagles were in the Super Bowl against the Patriots in 2005 down in Jacksonville, we had, I don't know why we had it on, I think it was a lot of people over for a Super Bowl party. And when T.O. scored, I think it was the first touchdown, I jumped up so high celebrating that I clipped my finger in the ceiling fan. And I'm telling you what, I didn't lose a digit, I didn't bleed or anything, but that was like a rude awakening. Like, I should probably keep my feet on the ground during an Eagles Super Bowl game. So that is the latest on the Biden administration as they now, and I was thinking about this with all the appliances that they are coming after. And the one that I can, if we were to ask the audience, what is the one appliance, forget all the green energy and the alleged savings that you'll have over the lifetime. If there was one that you would be willing to give up, that you just, maybe you don't use or you don't really care for, or the one that you would want to hold on to the longest, whether it's the gas stove, the ceiling fan. I got to tell you, I was thinking about this last night when I saw this story. I'm not giving up my dishwasher. Of all the things, like, I don't mind.
That's your appliance?
Of all the household chores, like, I love to cut grass. I don't have a yard anymore. But much like Dawn, I like to cut grass. I have no problem. I actually enjoy vacuuming. Laundry, I'm fine with. I hate folding everything, but doing the laundry itself, no problem with. The one, and I'm not a girly guy by any stretch. I'm not, I'm not a mechanic or anything. But I'm not opposed to getting my hands dirty.
Did you hear what he said there, Don? A girly guy.
A girly guy?
I'm not like one of these metro germaphobe dudes.
Do you take offense to that being
No.
Okay?
But I'll tell you one thing I find gross and disgusting. I hate doing dishes. Like that, I could not live without a dishwasher. I want to rinse everything off real quickly, load that bad boy up, put the little soap pellet in, and let that thing do its thing. I remember, I'm going to keep going back down memory lane here. My grandmother and mom, like on holidays, after big holiday family dinners, He had like the dual sink with like one side for the dishes that are dirty, and then you rinse them and you put them on the other side. And they're sitting in there, and they've got the little scrubbing bristle.
Yeah.
And and I'm watching all like the leftover meatloaf slab. I'm like, no, that's so disgusting. Like if you told me the one item I would not give up in the Biden administration's quest to ruin everything we love in life, the dishwasher will be number one.
Well, they're trying to make dishwashers more. And by the way, I told you guys a few weeks ago that right before we left for vacation, our refrigerator died. I mean, it was like one of those smart fridges. It was super expensive, and it lasted us about 5 years.
Is that the kind of fridge where you're able to check like your email on the front of the screen?
Yeah, it was very fancy, and it died right in the middle of it. So we got another one. We also, because we were when we redid our kitchen, we replaced all our appliances at the same time. So first the dishwasher went, and we knew as soon as the dishwasher went, we were like, well, the fridge is going to be next, and it was. But we got a new dishwasher, and it was the same brand, but it was less. It's less effective than the one it's
not
literally
as powerful.
It's literally the same one,
right?
And it's not as powerful, and it's just they're making them more energy efficient, which means they're designed to last about 4 years.
They're all
and then,
crap.
Yeah, to die. By the way, Wendy on the YouTube chat says that she gave up her her microwave, and she says she doesn't miss it. So,
Really? Her microwave?
Yeah, because she said it takes all the nutrients out of the food.
You know, the more I think about it, the microwave is actually overrated. Seriously,
Yeah, I don't microwave a ton.
I mean, you're not going to microwave leftover steak
No.
or chicken. Nobody microwaves leftover pizza. Everybody eats the pizza room temperature or cold.
Toaster oven.
Pop it back in the oven to get the crisp going.
Yeah.
You know, unless you're eating frozen Smart One dinners, which I've been known to do from time to time. Damn you, Joe Biden. What's the point of the microwave? That's the first thing I would probably give up.
Yeah, me
I
too.
can't tell you the last time I've used a microwave. Bag of popcorn.
No, you buy the pre-pop stuff, the skinny pop or one of that stuff.
That's true.
That's just as good.
Yeah.
It's more expensive, but it's good.
It is.
Yeah, I think the microwave would be my appliance too.
That you're willing to give up.
That I'm willing to give up.
Same
I'm not
here.
giving up my air conditioning and my ceiling fan.
Well, the air conditioning, that's a non-negotiable.
Well, it's an appliance, right? I
yeah,
mean,
no,
sort
I'm
of.
saying they can come and arrest me for all I care.
Yeah.
All right.
By the way, you're being called out.
What?
Ooh. Nick.
Oh, it's a day that ends in a Y. So what I do now? What I say?
Jesus is calling shenanigans on your comment about the ceiling fan thing where he did because he said T.O. scored no touchdown in that Super Bowl.
Yeah, he did. He had 9 catches, 122 yards, and a touchdown. I remember his whole stat line. Tell Jesus to recheck his facts. He's got bad facts.
Okay, just saying.
Maybe he didn't. I don't know. But I know. But I knew I jumped up when he made a big catch and damn near took my finger off.
Okay.
Maybe he didn't score a touchdown.
Okay.
But thanks, Jesus. Appreciate it.
I'm reading the chat here. That's all I'm doing.
I love all the criticism.
Yeah, criticism.
We haven't had much lately. I thought maybe people checked out.
Mike Carr says that microwave nutrient story has been debunked many times.
That it doesn't suck out the nutrients of the food?
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
He says, Jesus says his stats were amazing, just no touchdown.
Okay. So, all right, Jesus. Well, go call WIP then, pal. All right? How about that? All right, last story on the Biden administration, and then we will get to our morning mystery movie clip in about 5 minutes. You know, we talked a lot about Kamala Harris this week. We gave you the audio in the cut sheet where she was now, and actually you got it today, and that was from, was it NBC or some interview she did? She was also asked, I think, on the Wednesday edition of the cut sheet. There's a lot of questions now. Now all of a sudden, it's fair game as we get to about 14 months out until the election to talk about the distinct possibility that Joe Biden does not complete a second term because, as Nate Silver laid out for us yesterday, the odds of him finishing his term at 86 is about 89%. Now, there's 11% chance that he would pass away in his second term. So the question has been, is Kamala Harris ready? And of course, and I did, kind of quasi-defend her, like, well, it doesn't matter what VP it is. Anytime you ask a vice president, are you ready to step in should the opportunity come, they're all going to say yes. Nobody's going to sit there and say, no, I'm not ready or I'm not qualified. But she was also asked about the criticism, and she claims that the criticism doesn't bother her. Yet that apparently is not true, according to the New York Post, who has a story out that says Kamala Harris has rabbit ears for detecting criticism, and she is overly sensitive. So says colleagues in a new book. So we'll take that for what it's worth. Somebody's trying to sell a book, but Vice President Kamala Harris apparently has rabbit ears for criticism. That, according to a new book that suggests that she has paper-thin skin and is extraordinarily sensitive to any disapproval. In, quote, The Last Politician, due out this Tuesday, Authlan Franklin Fowler writes that Harris, 58, is so sensitive that her White House colleagues have taken to comparing her to a frightened rabbit. Quote, Harris possessed what one of her colleagues described as rabbit ears, Fowler writes in his bombshell book. Quote, whenever there was a hint of criticism of her, either in the West Wing or in the press, she seemed instantly aware of it. He writes in an excerpt that was first reported on Fox News. Quote, rather than brushing it aside, she wanted to know who was speaking ill of her and what they were saying, Fowler writes, noting that when Harris, quote, read a devastating story on a news website about her mismanagement of her team. As we know, she's changed over staff members many times, so it feels like she's a lot like Jimmy Fallon when it comes to criticism and the staff and things like that. The vice president, quote, responded by briefly freezing out an aide whom she suspected of cooperating with reporters. So maybe Kamala does have a certain skill set of detecting a rat and somebody that's chirping and releasing information that shouldn't be released. Quote, she let the criticism guide her. Instead of diligently sticking to the Central America assignment, she seemed to accept the conventional wisdom about it. It was a futile gig, so she let it fall to the side, missing an opportunity to grind her way to her meaningful achievement. They go on to write in the Atlantic magazine piece that Kamala Harris at times would be very irate over the misconception that she's ill-equipped to perform her job duties. That sounds legit to me. I know we were talking about Jimmy Fallon earlier, past staff writers saying it was a toxic work environment. But if you think about it with Kamala, from border czar to artificial intelligence to now being asked, in the event Joe doesn't make it, the hypothetical, as she likes to say, that's always a hypothetical, that she's ready to go. I think she is very, very aware. I would give this story a ton of credence and credibility.
Who's the author of it? Does it say?
This was The Last Politician. It's a book written by Franklin Fowler, F-O-E-R.
Okay.
He writes that the 58-year-old Harris has rabbit ears. So when Kamala's done, she probably shouldn't go into media, because when you're in the media and you have a show or a platform and you're on social media, you get tweets, you get YouTube comments, and they're usually not nice. So if you can't handle the little bit of stuff that gets back to you in this role, I don't think that Kamala Harris is going to be doing a talk radio show anytime soon.
Yeah.
Because she probably wouldn't want to check her Twitter mentions. She'd be getting fact-checked left and right. All right, 855-839-1210. A couple of stories to get to as we move along this morning. I do want to get to this story on the consumption of beef. We've been talking about weight loss and diet this morning. A very interesting research study on who is consuming beef and how many people in this country are consuming red meat. And then also, we've got our keyword giveaway, as well as what's on the cut sheet part due, and Dawn's Big Three coming up at 9:30 this morning. But 9:19, Friday morning, time to give something away once again with our morning mystery movie clip.
And now, the morning mystery movie clip on Kayal Company. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
People of Earth, this is Prosthetic Vogon Jeltz of the Galactic Hyperspace Planning Council. As you are probably aware, plans for the development of the outlying regions of the galaxy involve the building of a hyperspace express route through your star system. And your planet is one of those scheduled for demolition.
Think you know what it is? Call it 12 at 855-839-1210, and you could win this great prize.
Boy, that seems like a difficult movie. I think Dorenzo threw in a real tough one here on a Friday. I don't have the slightest idea what that is, but here's your prize. If you do know what it is, you will get a $50 gift card to Liberty Union Bar and Grill with locations in both Phoenixville and Chester Springs, PA. If you can be caller 12 with the correct answer, 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210. If you can identify that morning mystery movie clip, we'll find out if we get a winner on the other side. Kayal and Company, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Water quality continues to be a topic. Ensure your family is drinking clean, pure water with the Kinetico water system from Martin Water Conditioning. The Kinetico system removes all the impurities from your water. What comes out of the tap is crystal clear, all-natural, delicious water. Put the Martin Water Conditioning family's passion for water to work for you. Do what I did. Contact Martin Water Conditioning. Mention DOM 2023 to receive an exclusive offer. DOM 2023. Visit martinwater.com. martinwater.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
Hi, it's Rich Zioli. I'm joined here today by my friend, the co-president and CEO of Cooper University Healthcare, the one and only Dr. Anthony Mazzarelli. Dr. Maz and I are here to tell you about our buddy, Dr. Mike Veneria. Not only is he my dentist, he's my family's dentist as well. And not sure if you knew this, he's Dr. Maz's dentist too.
That's right, Rich. Dr. Mike Veneria is and has been my dentist also. And you know, doctors choosing doctors, that can be quite a selective process. And not only do I go to him, but for years, my sister and my niece and my nephew, the whole family goes.
Well, it's no secret. We're all delighted by the care that Dr. Mike Veneria and his award-winning team provide, and you need to check him out.
Whether you're looking for pediatric, general, cosmetic, implant dentistry, you don't need to look any further. Dr. Veneria's office does everything. Dr. Veneria's office also exceeds all CDC guidelines and has always maintained the strictest infection control, like their centralized UV sterilization of airflow, which is incredibly important to me.
Locations are right over the bridge in Cinnaminson and Woodbury. Your perfect smile's waiting. Call 856-786-2020 or visit veneriadental.com.
Change happens fast, and when it does, your small business needs to be ready. With Capitus as a trusted financing partner, you can be ready for anything that comes your way. Be it a sudden bump in customer demand, the need for quick cash to fund unexpected opportunities, or keeping the lights on when there's a sudden downturn in the economy. A simple 5-minute online application with Capitus could put the funds you need in your hands in as little as 24 hours. Go to Capitus.com to explore your financing options. That's KAPITUS.com.
Hi, it's John DeMasi, host of Health Watch, Sunday mornings at 8 and again at 4 here on Talk Radio 1210. If you or someone you know has been diagnosed with cancer or undergoing treatments that cause severe fatigue or brain fog, medical hydration may be right for you. Dr. Molly Fantasia of Innovative Medical Associates has more than 30 years experience in helping cancer patients to improve their quality of life.
We believe in medical hydration. We've improved it so much that we are able to help people across the board with challenges before they become chronic.
Nutrients delivered right to the cells support your immune system through surgery, chemotherapy, or wherever you may be on your cancer journey. Visit innovativemedicalassociates.com to schedule a free consultation with Dr. Molly in their Marlton, New Jersey office. And join us on Sunday mornings at 8 and again at 4 for Health Watch to learn more about the benefits of medical hydration for cancer, autoimmune diseases, and more.
If the market volatility of the past year has made you nervous about your retirement future, you're not alone.
So many people are waiting for the perfect time to retire. And those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
But that doesn't mean that it's hopeless. Jim Cipriotti has been helping people get to, through, and beyond retirement for over 20 years. And each week, he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti, now on Saturday mornings at 9 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
You know what I love? Each and every night, whether it's a hot night, whether it's a cold night, my Spring Dance hot tub. I love it. It's the best. You got to get one. If you don't have one, you got to get one. It's so relaxing and just takes the stress away. Maybe you are trying to get back into shape and work out. And you know what? Your Spring Dance hot tub is going to help you, especially just to relax and maybe you're aching a little bit. It feels so good. Maybe help your relationship. Whatever it is, whether it's me time, us time, you got to get your Spring Dance hot tub. And right now, this only happens once a year. It's the big trade-up event, so you can trade up to a new luxury hot tub for my friends at Spring Dance Hot Tubs. Yes, the annual trade-in event. It's happening right now through the end of the month, and it means you save big time, up to $3,000 off a brand new hot tub, and they're going to take away your old, leaking, broken hot tub and turn it into your new place to relax, entertain, and have some great times. So visit my friends at any Spring Dance Hot Tubs location. And, they're in South Jersey, across our region, here in the Philadelphia region, in the burbs. Find the hot tub or the swim spa of your dreams today. Just check them out at springdancehottubs.com. Springdancehottubs.com. Start relaxing now. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Calling on Harleysville to follow 1210 WPHT in the free Odyssey app.
Download it now.
926, Kayal and Company. Good to have everybody in on a Friday morning. 855-839-1210. We've got What's on the Cut Sheet, Part 2, coming up here in just a couple of minutes, as well as 9:50. Be listening. Morning, our Walt Disney World keyword giveaway. We've given you a handful of words this week at 9:50. You then go to 1210wpht.com and enter that keyword for your chance. We've done it each day this week, and of course, we will do it all month long for the month of September. But right now, time to give away our $50 gift card to the Liberty Union Bar and Grill. We've got Frank, who's down in Clayton, New Jersey, and he's got the movie clip identified. Frank, good morning. What clip did we play for you about 5 minutes ago, sir?
It was Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
That is correct. Came out in 2005. I didn't know if anybody would know that. I had no idea what that movie even was about.
Never heard of it.
Same here.
Great movie.
But
Gotta
Frank
watch
does. All right. So you and Anthony Dorenzo are the two that have seen it, but you're the one getting the $50 gift card. So congratulations, Frank. Thank you for listening, and thank you for playing.
Thanks.
You got it. All right. We've got some interesting developments, and I would suggest getting over to YouTube because we're going to have a video component for Dawn's Big Three this morning, which is a very interesting development that has been passed along. So let's get to that right now. Let's get to Dawn Stensland's Big Three at 9:27.
It's the Big 3 at 9 on Kayal and Company.
Big 3 at 9, sponsored by Holland Floor Covering this morning. That unbelievable video that has gone viral in just a moment. First, we do have breaking news this morning as we're told that a Philadelphia policeman has turned himself in at a South Philadelphia police station this morning. We're told the district attorney, Larry Krasner, plans to release body cam video. That's at a mid-morning news conference. Of course, we may very well cover it live during my show coming up, but we will certainly monitor that situation. This has to do with the Philadelphia officer accused of fatally shooting Eddie Irizarry last month and through the car window. And this morning, this officer, Mark Dial, identified facing murder charges. FOP Lodge 5 President John McNesby standing outside. They're not commenting as of yet, but he is there in this officer-involved shooting investigation. And the FOP, of course, has been defending Officer Dial, saying all of the story, the details have not yet been released. But these expected charges, the latest development in a very controversial case with a controversial DA who, as you know, this is the fourth time D.A. Krasner has charged a police officer in connection with an on-duty shooting since he took office, something he vowed to do, to go after police.
And you did say that they will be releasing the video footage?
Yes, so the body cam.
So we'll be able to judge for ourselves. Okay.
Yeah, so we've also updated for you 9 days. This is day 9. Search for a convicted killer, an escaped inmate in Chester County, Pennsylvania, consuming headlines locally and nationally. But the search for dangerous suspects is pretty routine in Philadelphia. U.S. Marshals capturing a Philadelphia murder suspect in Johnstown, Pennsylvania, wanted for the shooting that killed an innocent man here in Philadelphia. That guy's being extradited from Johnstown. But a reminder as to the routine nature that rarely makes national headlines, but certainly is making the headlines because it's happening in Chester County. Just wanted to do a compare-contrast situation.
Okay.
And now to the video and the story of this Philadelphia carjacking has gone viral. Stunning video, part of the police investigation now. You see this up-and-coming MMA fighter being dragged down a city street as he tries to stop the carjackers from taking his vehicle. Who is this guy?
I saw this video. Sam Oropeza had it on his Twitter feed, and then I saw Sergeant Mark Fassetti retweet. I can't believe this is real life.
So this is
goodness.
I mean, we've all driven. I mean, if you drive in Philadelphia, you know that intersection where they're at. So this guy stole his car, and if you're watching right now on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT, he goes over there and then he holds on for dear life to his car while his car speeds away.
Yes. So he's 25-year-old Igor Koschenko, native of Ukraine, by the way, works a side job. He's MMA rising star, works a side job in food delivery. So he's supposed to pick up the order there, 11th and Race, leaves the car running for a second, walks 20 feet to pick up the order, and a witness starts recording when the witness sees a few guys get out of a black Jeep Cherokee, which, by the way, is also a stolen vehicle, and they speed off in his 2008 white Mercedes.
Yes.
And so now you see they have no idea, though, as they're speeding off, unbeknownst to them. He's so fit. He looks like a superhero.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just running, and he's running toward the car, and because the car gets in traffic, and he's like jumps on the car.
Oh, he should have choked that guy out.
Oh my gosh.
Well, apparently, I don't know if it's in the report or not, but I saw Sam Oropez's tweet, and he said that the guy was firing at him as well. Like,
yes,
I guess the guy in the car had a gun or something.
He shot at him, and he's ducking the bullets. I mean, seriously, ducking bullets.
I haven't seen this display of athleticism since Danilo Cavalcante climbed the wall in Chester County Prison like Spider-Man.
I mean, this is like, now you know why in Ukraine they're able to fight off like Russia, motherhood Russia.
Yeah.
He's saying, don't touch my car, I will kill you.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's unbelievable.
How did it end?
So ultimately they get away.
Yeah.
Okay. And so they took his car, they believe, to New Jersey because his phone, everything is in that car.
Yeah.
And his wallet. So they believe that the thieves took the car to New Jersey because they located the phone on the Ben Franklin Bridge, according to Port Authority officials.
And this guy was out of his the black SUV for all of a matter of seconds before they took his car.
Because he's just picking up the order. So somebody comes out, they're like out the door, like just handing him the bag of the takeout order. So it happens that quickly.
Can you imagine this city in broad daylight?
I know.
This happens in broad daylight.
Yes.
It's crazy.
That's why I only come here from 6 to 10 a.m. You will never catch me here outside of work hours.
I don't. And then there's more of the video. Daniel, can you put up the video one more time here? Because a lot of people have.
Well, at least he jacked a Mercedes. I feel like every story is a Kia or a Hyundai. At least you took a high-end car.
He gets out of it by right as soon as he gets up to the overpass or whatever. I think he finally just drops out of the car or whatever, right? Like, I think that's how
they don't shake him even by shooting at him, to your point. He finally realizes they're going to speed off.
Wow.
And so he just releases.
And it looks like is that a Michael Jordan T-shirt jersey the guy is wearing?
It does say 23.
Yeah. Yeah, good point.
Yeah. I'm just. Would you? I mean, look. This guy has bigger, whats than I do.
Yeah.
If somebody was going to steal your car, would you do this? I don't
See,
know.
if I'm him right there, knowing as trained as he is a fighter, I'm diving right through the open window head first.
Yeah.
And I'm just putting him in a chokehold right there. He tried to hang on and almost put his feet down, like there was a guardrail on the truck, like he was just going for like a garbage man on the back of a garbage truck.
I've never seen anything like this in my life. It's like he's like a true life Rocky. This is what Rocky Balboa would do. Like, yo, I'm gonna kill you. Don't you take my car?
Shafe on the YouTube chat says the Eagles need to sign this guy for special teams.
I know. I agree.
Wow. But he's, as a professional MMA fighter, by the way, Koschenko is undefeated, no surprise, with a record of 4-0, trained to fight in the ring, never thought he'd have to use these kind of skills on the streets of Philadelphia.
All right.
And his training partner, by the way, of UFC star Sean Brady.
This guy lived in Ukraine. And then
Right?
He was like,
Came
you know
to
what,
Philadelphia.
Zelensky, you're getting too much money. I'm going to America.
He went to
Joe have
Philadelphia.
does Joe have the bag for me as well?
He went to Philadelphia, got carjacked.
Yeah.
Like, what's more dangerous,
Ukraine.
living in Ukraine,
Ukraine or Kensington?
Philadelphia?
Oh my God! And we've all been in this.
There's Temple University banners all in the background.
I've been
I know exactly
at this
where that's
intersection
at.
all the time, and it's just like broad daylight.
Yep.
Thugs steal his car.
Yeah.
Just like, oh.
Now, see, if I'm the carjacker here and he's jumping in my window with those little white street dividers that are up right there, that's where I'm like swerving into those dividers, trying to clip him off my door and knock him off the edge.
Yeah. So they started out 11th in race.
Yeah.
He catches up with the point where he catches up and jumps on is 7th in race. And obviously he started realizing they're headed for the Ben Franklin Bridge.
Yep.
And everybody knows right where that is.
Yep.
I've never seen anything like this.
Mike Carr says Joe Biden did this once. No joke.
Not a joke.
Oh, that's a good one. Wow.
I think this is where we started the bike ride for the Bend to Shore.
Oh,
you said
okay.
11th in race?
11th in race is where it all began.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's quite the video.
So
It
there's
really
a GoFundMe to help him to keep training because they got everything. So they'll recover his vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine these carjackers?
And,
like,
and this guy is basically working as like a DoorDash driver or
yes,
something?
yeah. This is how. So think about his just mojo, if you will.
Mhm.
He's training.
Right.
He's like Rocky. He's a modern day Rocky. That's what he's training. He's working his keister off as a delivery guy. He's fit. He's trying to make it in the world.
Here's how we compensate this guy, and we
got to get him on.
We make him whole again. Once we find Cavalcante, we stick the Ukrainian guy in the cell with Cavalcante and give him 60 seconds. Let him choke him out too.
Bring him to Chester. He'll help find him. I will
Exactly right.
find you.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. I love this guy. I love it.
Great story.
We are sponsored by Holland Floor Covering. Holland Floor Covering is the region's premier flooring dealer, family operated for more than 50 years, providing exceptional service and professional installation. Just visit their 2 showrooms, Wayne or Newtown. No charge samples, no obligation estimates. You can learn more at hollandfloor.com. Kayal & Company, Big 3.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. 855-839-1210. You can get us on Twitter and Instagram at 1210WPHT. About 12 minutes out from another keyword for Walt Disney World, but right now we get to What's on the Cut Sheet Part 2.
What's on the cut sheet?
Part 2. Chuck Todd from Meet the Press had an exclusive interview with Gavin Newsom on the thoughts or the potential of him challenging Joe Biden in 2024 during a Meet the Press exclusive. So I guess it's going to air later today, but they ran a little exclusive clip this morning on the Today Show. Savannah Guthrie questioning him about it. So here is that exchange and him questioning Gavin Newsom about challenging Joe Biden in 2024.
Does voters believe that? I want to talk about your big interview you've got Sunday on Meet the Press. And it actually goes to this issue that you just raised, which is Biden's age being more of a political liability than anything having to do with his son. There's a poll just out this week that suggests it's one thing like so many voters actually agree on, that they're concerned about the president's age. Here you have Gavin Newsom, California governor, waiting in the wings, it seems. You sit down with him and you ask him whether or not he really is planning a presidential run if Biden doesn't run. Let's listen to what he has to say.
Why shouldn't we consider you a likely
Well, I think the vice president is naturally the one lined up, and the filing deadlines are quickly coming to pass. And I think we need to move past this notion that he's not going to run. President Biden is going to run, and looking forward to getting him reelected. I think there's been so much wallowing in the last few months and hand-wringing in this respect, but we're gearing up for the campaign. We're looking forward to it.
But you hear these calls privately. What do you tell these donors who are wallowing in this?
Time to move on. Let's go.
Interesting.
A couple of things here. Number one, we gave you the piece earlier, I think it was on Thursday or Wednesday, that the claim was if you bring Gavin Newsom out of the weeds and have him run, that is not only sexist, that is racist to Kamala Harris. You heard Newsom there mentioning the VP briefly. But let me ask you, let me throw just more of an open-ended question. You know, everybody has said last fall and in the winter that Ron DeSantis would be the future of the GOP post-Trump.
Yep.
And that did not work out. He's clearly not what many people had hoped or thought he was. Everybody just assumes the same with Gavin.
Mm-hmm.
He's the Democrat laying in the weed. He's the next governor. What are the odds that once Gavin officially enters the ring, he's kind of a flop and a failure to the same extent DeSantis has been?
I think they are almost 100%. I just think that he just looks too
presidential.
Yeah, Trump has changed politics forever.
Yeah.
People don't, and I will say this on both sides of the aisle too. People are tired of politicians. They see through the slimy politician. That's why Mike Pence isn't resonating. It's the the very well coiffed. I feel your pain. Every answer has a. They just see right through it.
And it's also, I think, why Vivek has taken some flack now. Like I mentioned this to you yesterday. When you utter the talking points too smoothly, like a salesman, I think Americans see through that.
Yep, they do.
Yeah,
and I just think that he's too polished and and I don't know how much Californians really like him anyway.
Well, that's the thing. It's not like he's been successful in California and beloved by Democrats the way Floridians love DeSantis and what he's done in their state, other than the fact they feel like now he's abandoned them and going on the bigger things.
And that answer was like, well, clearly the vice president, and we know from history because of Kamala Harris history in California, we know there's no love loss between Gavin Newsom and Kamala Harris. And that answer of, well, the vice president is clearly in line to take over. If that's that was a slimy, non-sincere answer. And I think people can see through it.
And if we've learned anything, too, with DeSantis, it's, look, you could be a great governor and be great on that stage. And then all of a sudden you get people in your ears, you get consultants, you've got donors. They try to flip you around and change you and polish you off this way. And then sometimes the presidential stage, the national stage, might be a little bit too big for your britches.
Well, if Gavin Newsom doesn't work out to run for the Democrats, maybe Dick Cheney will, because he just released this ad trashing Donald Trump.
In our nation's 246-year history, there has never been an individual who is a greater threat to our republic than Donald Trump. He tried to steal the last election using lies and violence to keep himself in power after the voters had rejected him. He is a coward. A real man wouldn't lie to his supporters. He lost his election, and he lost big. I know it, he knows it, and deep down, I think most Republicans know it.
Dick Cheney dressed like he's getting ready for an episode of Yellowstone. Where does that come from? Where was that airing at?
I would love to see. This is some sort of an ad that he put, I guess, on Twitter. I just want to see this plastered all over MSNBC and CNN, where they basically called him a warmonger, Darth Vader for 8 years.
Right.
And now all of a sudden everybody's
He's their buddy.
Yeah, he's their buddy. See? Right. Look, Dick Cheney.
Yeah.
Even Dick Cheney.
Yes. The mainstream media, we love Republicans when they go against Donald Trump, and we'll give you all the airtime in the world.
Maybe he'll get a show on MSNBC.
I know. Speaking of getting a show, by the way, Vivek is now Fox and Friends. They do that Friday breakfast thing where they send one of the members out. They've got what's her name? Dawn, you'll know it. Who's the girl on the show?
Oh boy, Ainsley
Earnhardt. Yeah, I had
Earhart.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Ainsley Earhart.
They got her in Iowa, and who's at the breakfast at the diner doing a sit down? Vivek Ramaswamy.
Oh boy.
He travels like COVID. He's like the Republican variant. He's everywhere. That guy can't miss when the camera's around.
And by the way, there's a fact check article going around about his appearance with Mehdi Hassan, and
the rough stretch for him in the last
he
couple
did
days.
not handle that well, and he was not correct in most of the things that he was saying.
Well, you called that
in
yesterday.
interview. I did, but I'm just saying. Peter Doocy, apparently, so Joe Biden is going to travel to India.
G20, right?
So the Deuce is saying that there's going to be limited coverage of Biden's visit to India at the request of the host, not the White House.
Well, they don't want him falling asleep.
This is Peter Doocy.
As the Biden team confronts growing concerns back home about his age, his schedule on this trip is grueling. The president has been in transit since 5:30 p.m. Eastern last night, and as soon as he lands, he's going to have his first meeting with the Indian Prime Minister Modi. There's going to be really limited press coverage of that and every other meeting here in New Delhi, but we are told that is the preference of the hosts, not the White House. Dana?
Keep pressing for it, though. I know the White House press corps, you will be doing that. Thanks, Peter.
Yeah, Putin and Xi have opted out of this meeting. Joe's traveling rigorous schedule all the way over to New Delhi, India. But it's going to be rigorous. You know, they're limited coverage. We can't have Joe fall asleep like he did with Mr. Herzog in Israel. And what do you think the odds are on Monday that we are playing either an audio or a video clip of a gaffe of Joe's?
Either 100%.
Yeah.
Either he walks out prematurely, he goes the wrong way, he takes his mask off. And by the way, will he be masking in India?
Well, he's, I mean,
Probably.
How many days is he off, is he now from seeing his wife? Like 10 days or something?
Yeah. He hasn't been able to hang out with and get any quality time with Jill. He's like Howard Stern. He just, he doesn't spend any time with his wife. Poor guy.
All right, we have to break before the Disney keyword.
All right, 5 minutes out. Disney keyword, final day of the week. If you want a free trip to Walt Disney World, stay tuned. We'll give you that keyword coming up next as we wrap up a Friday edition of Kayal and Company.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898 or biglou.com.
Do you like crab cakes? Know where to get a great one? You need to go to Captain Chucky's Crab Cake Company. 6 varieties of crab cakes, succulent shrimp, soups, chowders, wild-caught seafood, and desserts. Great food, fair price, the best shopping experience. We love crabcakes.com.
Our oceans are true climate heroes. In fact, they've absorbed over 90% of all the excess heat trapped on Earth, but they can only take so much. Join Oceana to help protect our oceans at oceana.org/hero.
This baking summer heat is definitely hard on your home. Call PJ Fitzpatrick to fix the small problems before they become big ones. PJ will come to your home with a complete shop in their truck, and they can fix it all same day. Leaky windows, overflowing gutters, rotted trim, and damaged roofs. Call the home repair experts at PJ Fitzpatrick. No job too big or too small. Visit them at trustpj.com. They'll fix it right the first time. Visit trustpj.com and stay off the ladders. That's trustpj.com.
I'm Jack Wagner, host of the show Otherworld, a podcast that tells stories of real people who experience something paranormal or unexplained. Before Otherworld, I wasn't even interested in the paranormal. That changed when I realized how many people are out there who have experienced something extraordinary and never told anyone about it. I started this show to take a grounded approach to the paranormal, help people tell their stories in their own words, and encourage more people to come forward with their own. Listen to Otherworld now for free on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. It's back to school time. You need to call Kathy Ganna and New Hope Academy. Does your child or grandchild need more of a challenge? Now's the time to make the call to Kathy Ganna and New Hope Academy in Yardley and Doylestown, 800-300-0003. Let New Hope Academy transform your child's life forever by helping them now. For over 3 decades, New Hope Academy founder Kathy Ganna, pioneering educator and entrepreneur who created the NHA model, has been utilizing state-of-the-art solutions to uncover ways where your child could avoid struggling and succeed. At New Hope Academy, there's a student-teacher ratio of just 2 to 1, allowing for students to deal with many disorders, including high anxiety, social and emotional, bipolar. Do not wait. Remember, only the best teachers can work at NHA. Call for a no-obligation tour and consultation. 90% of NHA graduates pursue a college education. Call Kathy today, 800-300-0003, or online, newhopeacademy.net, 800-300-0003.
This is Jonathan Cans, third-generation owner of Marvin E. Cans Heating and Air Conditioning. Are you waking up soaking wet? Don't worry, you didn't wet the bed. It's sweat, which means your air conditioning probably needs service or needs to be replaced. Summer is still here for a few more months. If you want a company who's been servicing some of the same customers for 3 generations with honest pricing, no gimmicks, and factory-trained technicians, then Marvin E. Cans Heating and Air Conditioning is for you. Visit us at marvinecans.com. That's marvinekane.com.
This is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Free speech lives here.
Kayal and Company, Friday morning, 9:50 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. The Dawn Show coming up at 10 o'clock. We'll get a preview in just a moment. Also, who won Twitter today. But each and every morning this week and for the entire month of September, you be listening at 9:50, and we will give you a keyword. And if you want a free trip to Walt Disney World, you just take the keyword that I'm about to give you, and you go to 1210WPHT.com and enter it. Don't forget one entry, one contestant per trip per day. Today, the keyword is visit, V-I-S-I-T, as in Kamala Harris will not visit the southern border.
I like this.
Yes.
Every day we can use it in a sentence.
That is correct. So Kamala Harris has not visited Europe or Pluto for that matter, but the keyword is visit, V-I-S-I-T. So there you go.
So go to 1210WPHT.com and enter that keyword. Also, go to 1210WPHT.com, Nick Kayal, and the merch store is up. So
I see the link. I'm looking at it right now.
You can click on the link there. It's up. It's the upper right-hand corner, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. You can click on there. There's all kinds of merch for Kayal and Company, Zioli, Dom, Krasnerland. The Dawn Show still will be coming soon. So it's all good.
Yep. Mugs are $20. T-shirts are $28. I believe, hooded sweatshirts are $55. I'm like Fauci here at the Eagles game. Get your boosters.
Yeah, come on. Come on. Help us promote the show. This is the only promotion we're going to get, so help us promote the show.
I got to tell you, I like the Dom Time shirt.
Yeah.
That's solid. Zioli. By the way, we at Parks last night, one individual came up to Rich, and he had one of the original Zioli Army shirts. I guess it was like a Kelly green color.
Yeah, we did those a few years ago.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's a good looking tee as well.
The Eagles season.
Yeah. All right. All right, we will find out who won Twitter today in a moment, but right now, 8 minutes out at 9:52, we see what's on tap for the Dawn Show this morning.
Yeah, there's so much developing right now. We're following the latest developments, of course, in the Hunter Biden case. Will anything else drop? We got that covered in the Delaware courts. We, of course, have this breaking news situation with Philadelphia police, an officer being charged, and he turned himself in. Those developments as the DA's office is expected to hold that newser, so we're going to talk about that. And we have 10:30, Guy Shiraki, our friend from Chester County. He recently was hosting one of the DeSantis fundraisers here in Pennsylvania this week on Tuesday. So Governor Ron DeSantis I'm speaking about. So he'll update us on the DeSantis campaign and Democrats' law enforcement failures hitting home, as he says, expanding on the latest trends around Democrats' leadership and crime enforcement, and talking about those differences, but as well how he'll just give us a personal side to what it was like to host that Governor Ron DeSantis fundraiser as he stumps. And then, let's see, coming up at 11:15, it's a busy morning, Betsy Branter Smith, she's back, and she has become a regular as somebody in law enforcement, National Police Association. She's going to expand on the latest crime trends with migrants, retail price hikes, and theft, and her take on the Philadelphia Police Commissioner, the commission leaving, as well as the latest action that's happening today. Oh my goodness, there's so much going on. We're also reaching out to Sam Oropesa, trying to get Igor.
Yeah.
We want Igor, call in.
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. Igor would be great on the Dawn Show.
I'm very interested in the guest that has some stuff to say about DeSantis, because I'm wondering if they were exposed to
mustard.
But, that's just the way I operate.
Was it yellow or was it brown?
I don't know.
By the way, Nick, before we get to who on Twitter, do you have picks for this weekend?
Yeah, Eagles by 10.
Wow, really?
By 10.
27-17.
Nice. I like that score.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Phillies, we got Penn State tomorrow, too?
Penn State tomorrow against Delaware, and then
they're playing the fighting Joe Bidens.
and then right here on 12:10, the Phillies on a Sunday,
and high school football tonight,
and the high school football scoreboard show tonight.
Lots of sports for all you sports enthusiasts out there.
And cross our fingers that the Phils at home tonight are not going to get rained out.
Right.
Eek.
Yeah, it's the best time to. I love when Eagle season starts on WIP because we get Phillies games on our station, and it's always in September when they're in the hunt.
Get a little
great.
boost.
Yeah,
all
exactly.
All right, let's wrap it up with who won Twitter today.
Who won Twitter?
Signs of Autumn wins Twitter. They say, what a great dishwasher, 3 dogs and 4 cats.
Does Buddy do the dishes, Dawn?
Just lay your dishes on the floor, and they'll be nice and clean in a few minutes. Not sanitized at all, but clean to the eye.
All right, well, there you go. All right, that'll do it for us. Stay tuned. The Dawn Show is up next. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you Monday morning at 6. And as our favorite Ohio bus driver would say,
My foot's gonna be so far up your it's gonna dangle out your damn nose.
I'm Ed Bonner.